Chapter 1890. But sis, why? Why are you wearing our school uniform? Just a disguise. Do I look like one? Ning, she chuckled. Tang Nua nodded. Yes. I can't tell you're not a student. Xiao Nua, you've grown taller and more handsome. I almost didn't recognize you just now. How is it? There must be a lot of girls in school who like you, right? Do you have a girlfriend? Ning, she teased. Tang Nua blushed and scratched his head. Sis, don't tease me. I just want to study hard. I don't want to have a girlfriend. Ning, she didn't know whether to laugh or cry at the youngster's straightforward words. Sis, how did you get here? Tang Nua asked. I walked here. It's not far. Ah, that's tiring. Sit down and rest. Tang Nua hurried over to help her. Ning, she waved her hand carelessly. I'm not that weak. My agent was exaggerating in the video you saw at the press conference. In fact, a friend of mine gave me a special medicine, and I recovered very quickly. At least now I have no problems with daily life. Really? That's great. Let's go for a walk on the field? Okay. The youngster was relieved. The night breeze was a little chilly. Tang Nua thoughtfully draped his school uniform jacket over Ning Shi. Sis, don't catch a cold. Ning Shi adjusted the jacket, her face full of warmth. Thank you, good girl, they chatted as they walked. Ning, she asked concernedly, are you used to living in the capital? Tang Nua was silent for a while and then said, at first, I wasn't used to it. After all, it's a small place. When I was there, the whole village was proud of me. But when I came here, I realized that I'm actually nothing. This feeling of difference is really hard to bear. The youngster's expression was a little gloomy, but he quickly recovered. But it was only at the beginning. I slowly got used to it. Now I'm getting along well with everyone. The youngster only said a few words, but it could be imagined that he must have gone through all kinds of twists and turns. After Tang Nua finished speaking, he looked at the girl beside him with a slightly gloomy expression. Sister, that year, when you left home to come here, it must have been the same. Ning, she sighed and looked up at the night sky. She didn't want to hide anything in front of Tang Nua. She said slowly, yes, every day I miss home. I want to go back, but I can't. I can't since I've made my choice. I can't go back. Hearing the girl's words, Tang Nua clenched his fists tightly. Other than feeling heartache, he didn't know what else to say. Unfortunately, he was too young at that time and couldn't do anything. Sis, do you still blame Su Yin? Tang Nua asked. Ning, she tilted her head and looked at the boy who looked distressed. Her eyes glittered with bright starlight. Resentment? I should thank him. If it wasn't for him, how could I have met that person? When the girl said this, her face was full of warmth, without the slightest haze. Tang Nua was also infected by the girl's emotions. Sis, are you talking about your boyfriend? Ning, she corrected her with a smile. He's not your boyfriend. He's your brother-in-law. We're already married. Hearing this, Tang Nua was immediately surprised and said happily, really? Probably because of his experience with Su Yin, he had been worried that the man was not sincere to him. Maybe he just liked his sister's beauty and wanted to play with her. Unexpectedly, they were already married. Chapter 1891. Yes, I'm married and I'm very happy. Are you relieved now, little Tang monk? Ning, she chuckled helplessly. Tang Nua nodded his head repeatedly, and the weight in his heart was finally lifted. But because of my profession, you know, the wedding hasn't been held yet. I'll invite you to come, and I'll ask you to carry me out on your back. Of course, I'll carry you. Tang Nua looked excited. The sister and brother chatted happily all the way around the sports ground. As they were talking, a sudden voice came from behind. Xianxia, the sister and brother turned around subconsciously. Behind her, a man in a suit was standing there. The man was travel-worn and looked a little disheveled. His face was full of exhaustion, and he stared at Ning Shi without shifting his gaze away. Seeing Su Yin suddenly appear here, Ning Shi frowned and her face darkened. Tang Nua looked at Ning Shi and then at Su Yin. He suddenly realized something and said anxiously, Sister, it's not me. I don't know why he is here. Before Ning Shi could speak, Su Yin replied, I waited here on purpose because I really don't know how to see you. Su Yin had been contacting her frequently, since she was in a coma. She didn't expect that after she woke up. He still didn't give up and even used Tang Nu. What's the matter? Ningxi asked. Can I talk to you alone? Su Yin said, and looked at Tang Nuo. Sister. Tang Nuo looked at Ning, she awkwardly. Ningxi obviously didn't want to see Su Yin, but now they met because of him. He didn't know that after Su Yin called him, he knew that he would ask Ningxi to meet him. So he was waiting here. Ningxi looked at the apologetic Tang Nuo, and her face softened a little. She comforted him. Xiao Nuo, it's not your fault. Wait for me here. Tang Nuo could only nod obediently. With that, Ningxi walked straight to the stand. Su Yin breathed a sigh of relief and hurried to catch up with the girl in front of him. Tang Nuo stood below, looking at the two of them worriedly. He was ready to rush over at any moment if anything happened. At this moment, there were only Ningxi and Su Yin on the stand. Ningxi didn't waste time and said directly, Go ahead. The words that he had been holding back in his heart for more than a year, but now that he was finally standing in front of the girl, he suddenly didn't know what to say. The girl was wearing the uniform of Capital University and had her hair tied up in a ponytail. Because she didn't have any makeup on, she looked even more tender than usual. Even in such a night, her skin was still tender and delicate. He was suddenly brought back to his youth, and the person in front of him overlapped with the girl in his memory. His girl, Su Yin, didn't speak, and Ningxi didn't speak either. She just stood there quietly. The man's fingers were clenched in a fist by his sides, trembling slightly because he was too nervous. And Ningxi's expression gradually became a little impatient. After a long time, Su Yin finally said, Xiaoxi, and Ningxi looked up at the man who didn't say anything. Being stared at by the girl, Su Yin felt as if all the blood in his body was about to boil and flow in reverse. Finally, the remaining words rushed out of his throat. Let's start over, okay? Chapter 1892. Hearing this, Ningxi's expressionless face finally changed for a moment. She almost thought she had heard it wrong. Start over? She couldn't understand this man's thinking. After so many things had happened and he and Ning Shulaw had been married for a year, how could he say such a thing to her? The girl's gaze made Su Yan's heart go cold. The man said in a dry voice, Xiaoxi, I know what I said may sound ridiculous to you, isn't it? You heard that Su Yan took a deep breath. I've thought about it for a long, long time. This isn't something I said to you on impulse. I really, really regret it, and I finally understand who I truly like, who I truly love. Ningxi looked at the man in front of her, the man who held the best feelings of her youth, the man who had once made her feel heartbroken. Listening to him finally speak to her, she regretted it. Listening to him say that the person he really loved was her. There was not a trace of feeling in her heart. If there was, it was only a complete chill. Xiaoxi, what happened that year was my fault. I was the one who betrayed our relationship. But in the beginning, I really didn't want to leave you until I met Shuo Luo. Shuo Luo's temperament was too pure and weak, and also suddenly met with such an unforeseen event. She often complained to me. I also don't know when it started, this kind of feeling changed. Su Yan's expression was filled with pain and vexation. Ningxi's heart was clear. Yes, everything was her fault. She didn't have Ning Shulao's ability to act pitiful, cry, and satisfy his protective desire as a man. Her fault was that she had always reported the good news and not the bad news, for fear that he would worry about her. Her fault was that even if she had been ostracized and isolated, she had never said a word to him. Until later, I impulsively slept with Shuo Luo. It was Shuo Luo's first time. I'm a man. I can't not be responsible for her. I have been hiding it from you because I really don't know how to face you. Responsible. When he was responsible for a third party, did he think of her as his girlfriend? Ning Shuo's first time was precious, but she was an unclean person who had lost her virginity and was pregnant with a bastard. How could she be worthy of the noble young master of the Su family? But it wasn't until later on that I understood. All along, I had been worried about Shuo Luo, but I never thought about your feelings. You left your hometown for me, but in the end, I left you all alone. After you met with that incident, you were sent overseas by yourself. Then, When you returned to the entertainment industry, you went on to make a living on your own. Actually, I've always wanted to help you and make it up to you, but you're just too stubborn. Suyin stared at the girl in front of him. You disappeared for a whole year, and I also thought about it for a whole year, until you reappeared after a moment of silence. Suyin took a deep breath and continued, Xiaoxi, I've been deceiving myself for too long. I don't want to continue deceiving myself. I don't want to lie to myself for the rest of my life. Ningxi sneered. So, I know that I don't have the right to say such things to you in my current situation, and I have absolutely no intention of insulting you. I will regain my freedom. Chapter 1893. Regain her freedom? Ningxi couldn't believe it. He loved Ning Shualuo so much that even though he knew what she had done him back then, he could easily forgive her just because she cried and apologized. But now the man in front of her was telling her that he regretted it and wanted to divorce Ning Shualuo. Ningxi couldn't tell how she felt at the moment. After a long while, Ningxi said coldly, Suyin, some things are like a cotton-padded jacket in summer and a cattail leaf fan in winter. And when a person is disheartened, he will change his mind. Suyan's pupils suddenly shrank. Xiaoxi, I know you hate me, but I also know that it's because you love me. I know it's too late now, but Xiaoxi, believe me, everything I said just now is true, and I will definitely do it. I will marry you, and I will take care of everything. You will still be Mrs. Su. Everything between us will start over again. Huh. Hearing that Su Yin was so sure that she would come back to him as long as he divorced her, Ningxi chuckled and didn't say anything more. She also couldn't figure out who gave this person in front of her such confidence. She had been with him for so many years. Why did he think that she would always wait for him? Xiaoxi, wait for me, Su Yin said and turned to leave. Ningxi glanced at the man's back in the dark and didn't do anything. She certainly wouldn't stop him. She wanted to see if Su Yin would really divorce her and what Ning Shuiluo's expression would be if he did. After Su Yin left, Tang Nuo hurriedly ran over and asked worriedly, Sister, are you okay? What did he say to you? Nothing, just a bunch of nonsense. Let's go, Ningxi said carelessly. Seeing Ningxi's pale face, Tang Nuo blamed himself. Sister, I'm sorry. It's all my fault. Actually, it was Su Yin who called me and I knew you were back, so I asked him to meet me. I didn't expect that he did it on purpose. Well, someone used you shamelessly. It has nothing to do with you. Don't blame yourself. Ningxi was talking to Tang Nuo when her phone suddenly rang. Ningxi looked at the sweetheart on the caller ID and her eyes softened. She smiled and answered the call. Hello, honey? Hearing Ningxi calling him honey in a soft and sweet voice, Lu Tingxiao felt as if he was wrapped in a ball of honey. His deep voice revealed the owner's happy mood. Well, are you done? I'll pick you up. I'm done. Have you finished your meeting? Ningxi asked. It's just finished. There's still some work left. Very soon. Then don't rush over. I'll go find you. Wait for me, Ningxi said considerately. Okay. He naturally wouldn't refuse his wife's visit. Is it brother-in-law? Is it brother-in-law? Tang Nuo's eyes lit up as he asked. Yes, I'm going to the company to find him. Go back to your dormitory. Ningxi chuckled. Okay, sister, be careful on the way back. Say hello to brother-in-law for me. When Tang Nuo saw that Ningxi answered the phone call from her brother-in-law, the indifference and gloom on his face disappeared, and his tense mood also relaxed at once. Fortunately, such a person had appeared. He could make his sister forget the past and start over. Chapter 1894. Lu Group. When Cheng Feng heard that the lady boss was coming, he hurriedly went down to welcome her. Ningxi followed Cheng Feng and took the elevator to the top floor. After bringing Ningxi to the office, Cheng Feng immediately left, but before leaving, he couldn't help but take another look at Ningxi. Sweetheart, I'm coming. As soon as the door behind her closed, Ningxi immediately took off her mask and happily bounced towards Lu Tingxiao. Coming. Hearing the girl's voice, Lu Tingxiao, who was dealing with official business, subconsciously raised his head from a pile of contract documents. In the next second, when he saw the girl in front of him clearly, his expression suddenly froze, and his cold eyes instantly darkened. Ning, she was actually wearing a school uniform. If he wasn't mistaken, it should be the female school uniform of the capital university. Previously, Lu Jingli had shown him a magazine album and said that he wanted to use it as a reference for the company's employee uniform, but he rejected it, so he had some impression of it. At this moment, the girl was wearing a uniform short skirt with a refreshing ponytail. She didn't have any makeup on her face, but her eyebrows were like a distant black, her lips were like cherry blossoms, and her skin was even more delicate. She stood there charmingly, and it was impossible to tell that she was an artist who had been in the entertainment industry for so long. She was completely a naive and romantic university student. "Sweetheart, I want a hug." Ningxi had just been disgusted by a certain scum. At this moment, seeing Lu Tingxiao was like seeing a clear spring. She immediately went around the desk and rubbed herself against him. When Lu Tingxiao reacted, he had already hugged the girl. Ningxi sat on the man's lap, nestled in his embrace that was full of fresh and safe air, and rubbed her small head on the man's chin. The man carefully hugged the warm, fragrant, soft, jade-like girl in his arms, and gently stroked the girl's small head. His voice was somewhat hoarse. "Why are you dressed like this?" Only then did Ningxi remember that she was still wearing the school uniform. She immediately scratched her head in realization. Because I just went to the capital university to see Xiao Nua, so I asked Su Tao to find me some inconspicuous clothes. In the end, I don't know where he found a school uniform for me. No wonder when she came over just now, Chung Feng and a few other employees looked at her with strange expressions. Oh, did they think she was playing uniform seduction with Lu Tingxiao? How tragic. She really didn't do it on purpose. But, of course, it could be done on purpose. The girl's quick-witted eyes turned, and she immediately bent her eyebrows and moved closer. "Sweetheart, do I look good in this?" The man's eyes darkened. "You look good." A smug look appeared on the girl's face. I wasn't bragging before. You've really gotten yourself a treasure by marrying me. I wasn't just trying to coax you when I said I wanted you to feel like you're getting a new wife every day. The girl hummed proudly as she wriggled around on his body. Lu Tingxiao frowned and said, "Be a good girl. Go sit on the sofa for a while. I'll take care of the rest of the things." Ningxi's face fell. "No, I'll sit here. Will you handle it?" Lu Tingxiao, no. Ningxi felt even more wronged. "Then I won't disturb you. I won't talk anymore, okay?" Looking at the clingy little wife in his arms, Lu Tingxiao helplessly pinched the space between his eyebrows. After a while, he sighed, held the girl's hand, and pressed it down on a certain part of his body. Ningxi blinked, not knowing why she was being led. The next second, she felt the hardness and heat in her palm, and her eyes immediately widened. Lu Tingxiao kissed the girl's neck and said in an extremely hoarse voice, "I'll be distracted." Chapter 1895. Why was she distracted? She expressed her innocence. She hadn't done anything just now, had she? She had only spoken a few words to him. However, she was still very happy that she had managed to flirt with the devil so easily. Ningxi raised her little head and looked at the man's obviously forbearing expression. She blinked and said, "Well, sweetheart, actually my body is almost recovered. Annie has been prescribing medicine for me, and Mom has been making tonic soup for me every day, so you don't have to be patient." The girl said as she raised her chin and kissed the man's cold and thin lips after hearing the girl's hint. Lu Tingxiao's body suddenly stiffened, and he remained motionless. A moment later, the big hand on the girl's waist suddenly tightened. The man held the back of her head and kissed her hard. The space on the chair was too narrow, so Ningxi's waist was forced to lean against the desk behind her. She felt a little uncomfortable from being kissed, so she hummed. The next second, her body suddenly flew up, and she was placed on the wide and soft sofa in the office. She lay on the sofa and looked at the man who was suspended in front of her. Her usually cold and lusterless eyes were now filled with incomparable heat. Her frozen face was stained with desire, making it 100 times more attractive and sexier than usual. At the thought that the man's passion was all because of her, this thought filled her heart with even more satisfaction. Seeing that the man leaned over and was about to kiss her again, Ningxi deliberately reached out to stop his kiss and smiled. "Well, Didn't you say you had something to deal with? Is it okay? The man's Adam's apple moved up and down. He held the girl's hand and gently kissed the girl's palm. I've already dealt with it. She felt the itchy heat in her palm, and a numbness ran from the soles of her feet to her nerve endings. Okay, so you lied to me just now. Are you sure? Your body's okay? She chuckled. It's really okay. Let me tell you, even if I go up the mountain to fight a tiger, I'll be fine. Not to mention, with that, she paused. Then, she suddenly turned around and pounced on the man in front of her. She then said softly, not to mention, pouncing on you. The moment Ningxi's voice fell, there seemed to be something in the man's eyes. He suddenly broke out of the cage and turned into a raging flame, engulfing her. His slender fingers reached in her collar and unbuttoned her uniform one by one. Drip. The man's sweat dripped onto the girl's skin. The belt buckle was unfastened, and at the same time, the zipper of Ningxi's skirt was also unfastened at this moment. Lu Tingxiao's breathing was already chaotic, and his honey-colored skin was covered in sweat. If you feel uncomfortable, tell me. Ningxi's mind was in a mess. In fact, she didn't hear what the man was saying at all. She just nodded subconsciously. The next second, that thing roared into her body with terrible force, and Ningxi curled up like a shrimp. Chapter 1896. Feeling the girl's body tense up, the man stopped what he was doing. Such a pause was simply torture to him. Uncomfortable. Ningxi almost couldn't speak. Why? Why did it still hurt so much even though it wasn't the first time, boss? Are you sure? Is your size normal? Seeing that Lu Tingxiao was still worried about her even at such a time, Ningxi's tense body unknowingly softened. She smiled and rubbed the man's neck. I'm fine. The girl's gentle tone and expression completely broke the man's last shred of self-control in the spacious office. Only the sweet and ambiguous melody was left at this time. Ningxi's phone suddenly rang in her bag. Ningxi's dazed mind regained a bit of clarity. Phone. However, before she could finish her sentence, she had already lost all ability to think due to the Demon King's increasingly intense movements. She could only float along with him. Later on, Ningxi finally realized how naive and ignorant she had been. She had miscalculated. How could a tiger be as ferocious as her boss? She had even shamelessly said that there was definitely something wrong with her body. But the problem was, even if her body was perfectly fine, she might not be able to withstand the Demon King's demands. She was suddenly a little worried about her future at the same time in Deer Town. Baby Xiao Bao stood up immediately. I'm going to look for Mommy. The little fellow finally panicked when he couldn't get through to Ningxi's phone. Just then, Lu Jingli called Lu Tingxiao, but he also couldn't get through. If it was only Ningxi or Lu Tingxiao who couldn't get through, he might have been worried. But both of them couldn't get through at the same time. So, thinking of this, Lu Jingli's expression suddenly became meaningful. He said hesitantly, wait, baby. Trust me, your mother is fine. But Mommy wouldn't ignore Xiao Bao's call. Xiao Bao's face was stiff. There must be something she can't get away from. Lu Jingli explained. He suddenly had an ominous feeling. The dog food this time was probably enough to fill him to death. That's impossible. No matter what happens, Mom will never refuse to answer Xiao Bao's call. Xiao Bao's tone was firm. Lu Jingli shook his head sympathetically. He thought to himself, Darling, you really do have it, and I'm afraid you'll be abused many times in the future, and this is just the beginning. Don't worry, I'll make another call and ask. As Lu Jingli spoke, he called Cheng phone. Hello, Special Assistant Cheng, have you seen my sister-in-law? Lu Jingli asked directly. I saw it. The lady boss just came to the company. Cheng Feng answered truthfully. Where is she now? I'm not sure about that. I've already gotten off work, but when I left, the boss and the lady boss hadn't left yet. Cheng Feng thought for a long time. Finally, he coughed lightly and hesitantly added, Cough, second young master, if you don't have anything urgent, it's better not to disturb me now. As expected, this young master is really smart. All right, I understand. Lu Jingli hung up the phone. All right, You don't have to worry anymore. However, Xiaobao sighed. Lu Jingli held back his tears from eating too much. He resigned himself to his fate and helped coax the child for a long time. Finally, Xiaobao was appeased. Forget it. It wasn't easy for his brother to endure for so long. This time, he wouldn't care about the dog food. Chapter 1897. Late at night, Su Mansion. After Su Yin left Imperial City University, he returned home without a moment's delay. In the living room, Zheng Minjun had just finished a call with a lady she was close to and was about to sleep when she heard the sound of a car engine at the door followed by footsteps. Her son had returned from a business trip for many days. Seeing her son return, Zheng Minjun's face instantly lit up. Su Yin is back. Why are you so late? Weren't you supposed to be home yesterday? Su Yin did not answer. Where are Dad and Shui Luo? Your dad is upstairs in the study. Shui Luo seems to have a dinner party tonight. She's not back yet. Su Yin nodded slightly and then walked upstairs. I'm going to find Dad. I have something to discuss with him. Zheng Minjun had been asking around about Ningxi and the Zhuang family for the past 2 days. Now that Su Yin had finally returned, she wanted to ask her son's opinion first. However, seeing that Su Yin was in a hurry, it seemed like there was something urgent. She could only put it aside for now. Oh, okay, go quickly. In the study, under the desk lamp, Su Hongwang was looking at a land auction with a serious expression. This land was very important to them, but without the internal connections of the higher-ups, it was almost impossible to compete with the other two companies. This was how it was in this circle. Sometimes it was as difficult as ascending to heaven without that bit of connections. Su Hongwang's eyes darkened. He could not help but recall what his wife had said that day. After all, Su Yin and Shui Luo had been married for so long. The Su and Ning families were now inseparable. Divorce would affect everything, so he told Zheng Minjun not to be impulsive. However, at this moment, if Su Yin could marry Ningxi, it would bring great benefits. No matter how determined he was, it was enough to sway him. If he could really unite with the Zhuang family through marriage, then all the trouble that would come with divorce would be a small problem. Su Hongwang was lost in thought when he suddenly heard his son's familiar voice. Father. Su Hongwang snapped out of his thoughts and looked up at his son. You're back. Su Yin nodded. His expression looked a little different than usual. Father, I have something to discuss with you. Seeing Su Yan's unusual expression, Su Hongwang straightened his face. Have a seat. It's already so late. What's the matter? Su Yan didn't sit down. Instead, he stood in front of the desk with his back straight. He seemed to have made up his mind. He looked at Su Hongwang with certainty and said word by word, Father, I'm going to divorce Shui Luo. The moment he finished speaking, Su Hongwang's expression changed due to shock. At the same time, a dark light flashed across his eyes. Su Hongwang suppressed the messy thoughts in his mind and looked at his son with an extremely serious expression. Do you know what you're saying? Father, I know that you and Mother will definitely object, and you will definitely not understand my impulsive and unreasonable behavior. But this matter, I definitely did not do it on a whim. I have been thinking about it for an entire year. I've made up my mind. Su Yan's tone was very firm. Rather than discussing it with him, it would be more accurate to say that she had come to inform him. If Su Hongwang hadn't known Ningxi's identity, he would have been furious to hear Su Yan talk about divorce. But so everything was a little different. Chapter 1898. So, although Su Hongwang's expression was solemn, he also felt relieved. You have to give a reason for such a big thing. But what did Shui Luo do wrong? Su Yan clenched his fists. No, it's not that Shui Luo did anything wrong. It's my fault. I owe someone too much. Su Hongwang's eyes instantly lit up. One person. Don't tell me you're talking about that girl Ningxi? Su Yan nodded. Father, you know what happened between me and Ningxi. No matter what, I betrayed her first. She suffered so much alone. I just found out that we all misunderstood her this year. She wasn't as dirty as the rumors say. She was a kept woman. She got into a car accident and fell into a deep coma. She was bedridden for a whole year. So that was it. In fact, Su Hongwang had already seen through his son's thoughts. After all, He was a man and understood a man's thoughts. No man would be able to resist a woman like Ningxi. In the past, he didn't think much of Ningxi's devotion to his son. But now that she suddenly ignored him and looked so stunning, it naturally attracted his son's attention. Plus, the fact that Ningxi had disappeared for a year triggered his son's pity and regret. He could understand why his son suddenly asked for a divorce. "I already know what happened to Ningxi," Su Hongwang said. "Father, you know about it too?" Su Hongwang didn't pay much attention to the entertainment industry, so Su Yin was surprised. A glint flashed across Su Hongwang's eyes. As he observed his son's expression, he said, "Ningxi is the Zhuang family's acknowledged niece. She has a high status. How could she do such a thing, as the rumors say?" Hearing this, Su Yin was slightly surprised. "Father, you mean the Zhuang family has recognized Ningxi?" "That's right." Su Hongwang nodded. "And your mother saw it with her own eyes at Minister Li's wife's private party. Meng Linlang brought her along and introduced her to everyone." Su Yin pondered. "I guess the Zhuang family already knew about Ningxi's background when I married Shui Luo, but the Zhuang family has always been low-key, so no one knew." "Yes, that must be the case." Su Hongwang said earnestly, "Back then, your mother and I were kept in the dark by the Ning family. After all, we didn't know. With Ningxi's status and upbringing, there was no way she could enter the Su family. Now, since we know that she is not only the flesh and blood of the Ning family, but also the granddaughter of the Zhuang family, this identity is suitable for our Su family." Su Yin understood the meaning behind his father's words and was pleasantly surprised. "So, father, you mean you agree?" Su Hongwang didn't answer directly, but asked, "How are you going to settle Shui Luo's side? She didn't do anything wrong, and you suddenly want to divorce her. Will Shui Luo be willing? Will the Ning family agree?" "Fault?" Su Yin recalled what Shui Luo had done to Ningxi that year. Although he was unable to tell Su Hongwang the truth, his heart felt like it was being stabbed by needles. He didn't know why he had let her do that to Ningxi, but he still chose to forgive her. Chapter 1899. At that time, his heart was filled with this weak girl. He was her sky, her earth, her only support, and everything. She said that she did the wrong thing because she was too afraid of losing him. He was touched by her deep love and forgave her. He always thought that after the hospital exposed her identity, Shui Luo only had himself, so he tolerated her everything and protected her from harm. But the fact was that although her identity was exposed, Shui Luo was still the eldest daughter of the Ning family. She had a good family background and was loved by Ning Yaohua and Zhuang Lingyu. Even he betrayed Ningxi and stood on her side. On the contrary, Ningxi left her adoptive parents and was not accepted by her biological parents. In the end, it wasn't until time slowly woke him up that he finally understood how cruel everything he had done back then was to the other girl. It was not until he saw the girl working hard to shine that he realized that his feelings for her had never disappeared. Why did things become like this step by step? At the end of the day, it was because he was the eldest son of the Su family. Even though he had been recuperating in the countryside for many years, he was still proud. When he was lonely in the countryside, Ningxi's existence made him feel like a ray of warm light. However, as soon as he returned to the ostentatious capital, everything reminded him of his identity. Ningxi was incompatible with the upper class, so he gradually became sick of her and even began to escape from her. And at that time, Ningxi, who was beautiful and talented and often showed kindness to him, appeared. She was a perfect match for him, so it was hard for him not to be moved at the same time. Because of his pride, even though he admired and pitied Ningxi's real identity was still a thorn in his heart. Especially when Ningxi's identity was exposed in public, and everyone in the circle had a tacit understanding. He was so proud. How could he stand those people who sympathized with him and took pleasure in his misfortune, gossiping in private that he had married a wild chicken? Now, all he did was return everything to the right track. Su Yan's wife should be the real daughter of a rich family. She should be noble. So now, even if he had to sacrifice everything, he wanted to make it up to her. He wanted to make it up to the girl who had waited for him for so long and loved him so deeply. He even wanted to fly to her side and tell her that he had regained his freedom. He couldn't wait to see a smile and a loving expression on the girl's cold and mocking face again. Thinking of this, Su Yan's gaze became even more resolute. I will deal with Shui Luo's side, but as for the Ning family, I will have to trouble father and mother to coordinate. At this moment, various interests flashed through Su Hongwang's mind. In fact, he was almost completely convinced. He slowly said, "If you've really made up your mind, your mother and I can only do this if everything went well. As long as the relationship between Su Yan and Ning she was confirmed, they might even have time to buy that piece of land." There was no need to mention the various conveniences in the future. As for Ning Shi, Su Hongwang seemed to be extremely at ease and didn't ask anything. That girl had always loved his son to death. Now that his son had divorced for her and was willing to marry her again, how could she not be willing? Chapter 1900. Su Hongwang's mind was racing, but he didn't know that all his plans were just a joke. Lu Group, CEO's office. The girl had been carried to the soft bed in the lounge by the man. On the bedside table, the flower petals in the vase trembled and fell. The girl's school uniform had already been completely taken off. Her porcelain white skin was steaming with sweet heat, even redder than the petals of a flower. Her body swayed along with the man's movements like a ball of soft jade, forming a sharp contrast with the hard and hot body in front of him. There was no rejection, no fear, no panic. There was no shadow or distracting thoughts. Only wholeheartedly. A feeling similar to satisfaction filled her heart. It turned out that this was the feeling between a man and a woman, beautiful and pure. After all, Lu Tingxiao had endured for too long. He had always been afraid of hurting the girl, but when he really did it with her, the words restraint and control were tantamount to torture for him. However, Lu Tingxiao seemed to have thought of something, and his expression changed all of a sudden, and he immediately stopped moving. Ningxi's messy hair stuck to her temples. Looking at the man's expression that was almost breaking down, she said in a hoarse voice, "What's wrong?" The girl's soft voice and glistening eyes were simply adding insult to injury. At this moment, Lu Tingxiao's body was as taut as a bow, and his forehead was covered with a thin layer of sweat. "I don't have, huh? Don't have what?" Ningxi was startled, but she quickly reacted. She smiled slightly and put her soft arms around the man's neck. "Oh, sweetheart, do you mean condoms?" Lu Tingxiao's face was extremely dark, and he nodded. "Yes." Ningxi rubbed against the man's neck. "It's okay. It's a safe period." As Ningxi spoke, her bright eyes gazed into the man's eyes attentively. She said, "Actually, sweetheart, I really want to give you a child." Hearing that the girl actually said that she wanted to give birth to his child, the man's pupils abruptly contracted almost at the instant the girl's voice fell. He only felt a sudden electric current running through his back, and then it actually came out just like that. "Damn it!" Lu Tingxiao cursed in a low voice. The burning heat in her body made Ningxi's body tremble violently. Feeling the man's remorse, she didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "Come on, Sir Boss. It's almost daybreak now. Even my strong body can't bear it. How much longer do you want?" Lu Tingxiao didn't immediately withdraw, but held the girl tightly. "Xiaoxi, are you sure? Are you really willing?" He had been worried about the trauma caused by what had happened in the past, so he never thought that she would be willing to be pregnant again, so he never mentioned it to her. Ningxi's expression didn't change at all. She smiled and said, "Of course I'm sure. Come on, we're already married." "Is there anything wrong with me giving birth to your child?" After saying that, Ningxi seemed to have thought of something, and a trace of worry flashed across her little face. "Oh, but I'm worried that Xiaobao won't like it. Actually, having Xiaobao is enough for me." She had suddenly said those words to Lu Tingxiao because she felt that the best way to express her feelings for him was to give birth to a child for him. Hearing the girl's words, Lu Tingxiao's eyes flickered and he said firmly, "Don't worry, Xiaoxi will like it. I promise." Chapter 1901. It was already late at night when Ning Shuluo returned home from a social event. Ning Shuluo was overjoyed when she saw the familiar shoes of the man at the door. Su Yin was back. She pushed open the bedroom door and saw Su Yin standing on the balcony through the floor-to-ceiling window. "Brother Yin, you're back. I missed you so much." Su Yan's body stiffened when he felt the soft body behind him. He turned around and looked at the girl in front of him. "Are you done?" Ning Shuo nodded and looked a little distressed. Recently, History and Starlight have been having a lot of problems, especially Starlight. Because of my sister's return, the promotional event for the world that we prepared for a long time was ruined, and Zishuan has been having a lot of problems. "All right, Brother Yin, do you know? My sister is back." Su Yin nodded. "I heard." Ning Shuo's eyes dimmed. She guessed that Su Yin must have known the truth about Ning Shi's disappearance for a year. She said guiltily, "I didn't expect such a big thing to happen to my sister this year. It's a pity that we didn't know, and we couldn't help." Su Yin didn't reply. He just looked at the dark night sky not far away with an unfathomable expression. Ning Shuo looked at Su Yan's expression and felt a strong sense of unease. At the same time, she couldn't help but recall that Su Yin was supposed to be back from his business trip yesterday, but he suddenly disappeared for a whole day. Where did he go between the time he arrived at the airport and the time he went home? Was he really at the company? He didn't even come back at night. But as far as she knew, the company hadn't been that busy recently. Because she had been too busy for the past 2 days, she hadn't paid much attention to his whereabouts. When she came back just now, she was going to call his assistant, but she saw that Su Yin was already back. What worried her the most was that, did Su Yin already know about Ning Shi and the Zhuang family? After knowing Ning Shi's identity, would he be like Zheng Minjun? A year ago, she had already sensed that something was wrong with Su Yin. Because of Ning Shi's sudden disappearance, her worry was over before it even began. But now, Ning Shi was back. The more Ning Shuo thought about it, the more uneasy she felt. Damn it. How could she have forgotten such an important thing and neglected Su Yan's side? Even 10 companies were not as important as her capturing Su Yin and the Su family, including when it came to dealing with Zheng Minjun. The reason why she had remained calm until now was because she was most confident in Su Yin. No matter how much Zheng Minjun disliked her, as long as Su Yin stood on her side, then Zheng Minjun could not do anything to her. Even if Su Hongguang personally came forward, it would be useless. But now, looking at the man in front of her, who had always been in her control, she suddenly had no confidence. Even the way he looked at her at this moment gave her an extremely unfamiliar feeling. Since when did this man, who was so obedient and loyal to her, start to look at her with eyes that were no longer as hot and warm as before? If his heart wasn't with her, then where did it go? Ning Shui Luo's eyes flashed with a hint of viciousness. In the next second, her eyes immediately reddened and became misty, as if she had been greatly wronged. She threw herself into Su Yan's arms. "Big Brother Yin, what should I do? I'm so scared." Looking at the girl's extremely panicked expression, Su Yin held back the words that he was about to blurt out. "What's wrong? What happened?" Chapter 1902. Brother Yin, will you not want me anymore? The girl raised her head and asked in tears. When Su Yin heard this, his heart skipped a beat, probably due to his guilty conscience. He forced himself to remain silent. Su Yan's reaction made Ning Shuo feel like a bucket of cold water had been poured on her head. She clenched her nails into her palms. Su Yan, he really had such a thought. Ning Shuo's heart was filled with gloom, and she looked even more grieved. "Brother Yin, do you know? No matter how hard I try, Grandpa will never look at me. He even thinks that I have ulterior motives. But I really just want to resolve the conflict between Grandpa and Mother." "I know you mean well," Su Yin said absent-mindedly. "I don't know what I did wrong. Maybe it's because Grandpa and Mother had a deep conflict, and I've always been closer to Mother, so Grandpa didn't care about me. But he recognized Ningxi." Ning Shuiluo's face was full of sadness when she said this. Su Yin patted the girl's shoulder. "It has nothing to do with you. Maybe because Ningxi has the Zhuang family's blood in her. Ning Xiaoluo's face turned pale when she heard that. She smiled bitterly and said, "Huh, that's right. Bloodline. You're my biological sister after all. I'm nothing. Even Grandpa only recognizes you now. I know. I'm not worthy, but I'm scared. I'm really scared, Brother Yin. You know, Mother was very dissatisfied with me because of my identity. I worked very hard for more than a year. Only then did she become satisfied with me. But ever since she saw Annie bringing Ningxi to Mrs. Li's private party, she started to treat me differently. I'm really scared. I'm scared that Mother will hate me and force me to leave you." Ning Xiaoluo was sobbing when she said this. She didn't mention a word about Su Yan's change of heart. She still believed that Su Yan loved her and was worried that they would be separated by their mother. The girl didn't doubt him at all, and she panicked because she was worried about being separated from him. Even though it took her a whole year to make up her mind, even though she had talked to her father just now. At this moment, Su Yan still hesitated. No matter what, he couldn't bring himself to say the words that he had prepared to say. Su Yan frowned, but in the end, he only said one sentence: "Don't let your imagination run wild. The Ning family's background and how the Zhuang family treats her have nothing to do with you." In the first place, he didn't decide to divorce because of this. It was just that this fact, to a certain extent, strengthened his thoughts. But even if there was no such reason, he would still make this decision. Ning Xiaoluo leaned into Su Yan's embrace and cried, "Brother Yan, I'm really tired, but as long as I know that I can be with you, as long as I know that you love me, I can endure anything. I'll gladly endure anything." Su Yan's expression became even more stiff. His originally firm heart started to waver. Indeed, Luo had sacrificed a lot for him. However, his feelings were different from before. He could not bear to part with Ning Xiaoluo, but he did not feel the slightest bit of reluctance. His heart was filled with annoyance when he saw Ning Xiaoluo's expression. At this moment, a dazzling face flashed across his mind. The strong desire to obtain that person's body immediately calmed the man's chaotic emotions due to Ning Xiaoluo's crying. Chapter 1903. Looking at the woman crying in his arms, Su Yan didn't immediately say what he was going to say, but he was more determined. The man patted the woman in his arms, and a dark light flashed across his eyes. "Xiaoluo, I know you've done a lot to be with me, and you've suffered a lot. But the biggest victim and the most innocent person is Ning Shi. You even did that to her." Ning Xiaoluo's body suddenly stiffened. This was her Achilles heel. Damn it. If Su Yan hadn't found out about those two good-for-nothings, she wouldn't have been in so much trouble today. So that although this matter had severely frustrated Ning Shi, it was like a time bomb between her and Su Yan, so that she had always been at a disadvantage and in a passive position in the relationship between the three of them. Every time she saw Ning Shi, she had to pretend to be guilty and remorseful. That was enough. But she had to do this. If Su Yan found out that she did it on purpose, she would be doomed. Ning Xiaoluo burst into tears, and her face was full of self-blame and pain. "I know. I've always known. So I didn't fight with my sister for anything all these years. I can even return everything to her. I just hope that my sister can forgive me. But Brother Yin, you know that my sister misunderstands me too much. She's not willing to accept any compensation from me. What if she is willing? You're willing to do anything? You're willing to return everything to her?" Su Yan suddenly asked. Ning Xiaoluo was stunned by the question. She was speechless for a long time. Then, she was filled with anger. Bitch, she had actually hooked up with Su Yan in secret? Otherwise, why would Su Yan say such a thing? What was he hinting at? Return everything to her? Return what to her? Su Yan, dream on. Su Yan was her man, her husband, and she was the only Mrs. Su. This position would be hers, and she would never give it up. Su Yan didn't look at Ning Xiaoluo's expression again, and directly changed the topic. "It's late. Go to sleep." He didn't mention it today because he wanted her to be mentally prepared. It wouldn't be too late to talk about it after he dealt with all the follow-up problems and drew up the divorce agreement, so as not to cause more trouble. Ning Shuo did have some achievements in the business world and was praised by her peers, but she was just a woman after all. It was all thanks to the Ning family and the Su family. The Su family had invested a large amount of capital and shares in Ning Family International, History, and Starlight International. Starlight's shares were all directly transferred to her by him. After the divorce, as compensation, he could give all of these to her directly. He didn't want a single cent, so he wouldn't treat her unfairly. With these, she could live a good life. With Ning Yaohua and Zhuang's doting on her, she wouldn't have a hard life after the divorce. After Su Yin turned around and went to the bathroom to say, Su, Su. After being with Su Yin for so many years, how could she not guess Su Yan's thoughts? Su. She Su. She Yin. Impossible. While Su Yin was taking a shower, Ning Shuo took out an exquisite amber bottle from the box at the bottom of the cabinet. She then lit up the incense and poured the liquid in the bottle. In an instant, the room was filled with a faint, sweet fragrance. Chapter 1904. That sweet fragrance seeped through the crack of the door and into the bathroom. Su Yin was taking a shower while thinking about how to deal with the aftermath of the divorce. When he thought of the shadow that appeared in his dreams every night, he thought that the girl would soon return to his side and belong to him completely. She would no longer be coveted by other men. The last trace of pity he had for Ning Shuo disappeared. He just wanted to make up for his mistakes and the damage he had caused. The water flowed over his body, and before he knew it, his lower body had a reaction. At the same time, his mind was filled with the image of a girl. She was wearing a red dress and walking on the red carpet. She was like a dazzling sun. She was dressed in white and sang softly like a fairy. She was wearing a school uniform, and her skin was as white as snow, even in the dark. She was wearing a white dress and looked like she was singing softly. He imagined touching her with his hands, kissing her. Su Yan's hand couldn't help but caress that place of his at this moment. The door of the bathtub was suddenly open from the outside. Then he saw a mist rising, and Ning Shuo stood behind him. Her fingers touched her belt and untied the knot, and her nightgown fell to the ground. Su Yan's eyes suddenly turned scarlet when he saw the scene in front of him. The body behind the mist gradually turned into Ning Shi's appearance the next second. The woman's wrist was suddenly dragged over and pressed against the cold wall. Then the man used so much force that it was almost rough, and then he heard the sound of heavy breathing. Xiaoxi. In the middle of the night, Su Yin was lying on the bed, unconscious. Ning Shuo picked up the nightgown beside her and looked at her bruised body. Her mind was filled with the name that Su Yin had just said, and her face was as ferocious as a ghost. Su Yin slept with her less and less often. In order to get pregnant as soon as possible, she had to use some special methods. In the past year, she only succeeded a few times because she used essential oil, but the worst result was that Su Yin had never called other women's names. But now, that bitch who couldn't even keep an eye on her own man, a good-for-nothing, a broken shoe who was raped and had a bastard. What right did she have? After Su Yin fell asleep, Ning Shuo's expression was extremely cold. She took out an old phone from a hidden safe and walked to the balcony on the top floor. Hello. After the phone was connected, the man's impatient voice came from the other end. Ning Shuo didn't notice the man's tone and said in a shrill voice, I want Ning Shi dead. Kill her for me. Now. Immediately. Now. After a short silence, a cold snort came from the other end of the phone. Miss Ning, please watch your tone. Do you think my Solomon is your family's errand company? The man's fierce tone calmed Ning Shuo down a little. She softened her tone and said, You can pay however much you want, as long as that woman completely disappeared from this world. I don't want you to kidnap anyone or threaten anyone. It's too easy to fail if you act in secret. I can't wait a moment longer. I want her dead right now. The man's tone became even more impatient. That woman is a public figure, and she has bodyguards by her side. It's so easy for you to assassinate her. Don't tell me you don't know the relationship between this woman and the Zhuang family. Last time you asked me to mess with Zhuang Rongwang, I was almost killed by you. Now you want me to kill Zhuang Zongren's niece? Hee hee, do you think I'm stupid? Chapter 1905. Ning Shuiluo's face darkened when she heard what the man said. At the same time, her heart was filled with disdain. Useless thing. You don't even dare to kill someone. How dare you call yourself the leader of a branch? I've been busy recently. Don't bother me with these things all day long. The man hung up the phone. Ning Shuo looked at the phone that was hung up. She was so angry that she almost broke her teeth. Damn it. If it wasn't for the fact that it was too risky to find someone from within the country, she wouldn't have to go through so much trouble and rely on a force that she couldn't control. She had done so many things for them in private, but they dropped the ball at such a critical moment. However, they had each other's secrets, so she couldn't do anything to him. She failed when she asked him to threaten the assistant to change the gun last time. This time, she was directly rejected. That damn bitch. Why is she so stubborn? Su Yin was obviously determined this time. He might have even joined forces with Su Hongguang and Zheng Minjun. Since she couldn't get rid of Ning Shi immediately, it was almost certain that Su Yin would ask for a divorce. She knew how important the Su family was to her. Her history and Starlight, especially her position in Ning Family International, were all closely related to the Su family. How could she allow that bitch Ning Shi to take back everything that she had? Bitch, you want to fight with me and divorce Su Yin? Do you think it's that easy? Ning Shuo lowered her head with a gloomy expression. She touched her lower abdomen. It seemed like there was only one way. A few days later, the Entertainment Light leaderboard was officially launched. Apart from the entertainment industry, there were a few other leaderboards that were not limited to the entertainment industry. For example, one of them was the man that all Chinese women want to marry. Although most of the celebrities in the entertainment industry were male, people from other circles could also be on the list. For example, the person who was always at the top of the leaderboard with a crushing number of votes every year was Lu Tingxiao. No matter how the other leaderboards changed, no matter how much blood was shed, Lu Tingxiao's ranking had never changed. Every time on the first day of the voting, his votes would start to rise at a terrifying speed, and then he would look down on everyone. Ning Shi laid on the bed with her head propped up. She flipped through the current ranking with her fingers. She couldn't help but click her tongue when she saw her sweetheart's #1 ranking. These girls were simply too scary. Oh, if they knew that the man they wanted to marry the most was already with her. What are you looking at? Lu Tingxiao sat on the chair beside the bed, maintaining a distance that was neither too far nor too close. After the last time, he almost couldn't stand her appearing within 3 steps of him. Just a touch could make him have a reaction, but considering her body condition, he hadn't touched her for the past few days. Ning Shi sat up and leaned over to show him the phone. Sweetheart, look, you're first again this year. What's this? Lu Tingxiao glanced at it. Don't you know? The most famous list in the industry. Every year, you are ranked #1 on the list of men that women want to marry the most. Ning Shi said with a stressed expression. Fuck, I have too many rivals in love. When Ning Shi said this, she didn't expect that she would slap herself in the face soon after. No one had as many love rivals as Lu Tingxiao did. Chapter 1906. Su Tao also attached great importance to this year's Entertainment Light list. He had already made a series of plans for Ning Shi to canvass votes. What was rare was that Jiang Mai was so attentive this time. In the past, he always found it troublesome. Lei Ming had to beg for his cooperation. But this time, he took the initiative. Not only did he cooperate with Jiang Mai, but he also agreed to hold a fan meeting. He even posted on Weibo that if he got the #1 spot on all 3 lists, he would give his fans a nude photo. Although Jiang Mai was a playboy, he never took big pictures. Usually, when he posted photos, he would at most show his abdominal muscles. It was really a great benefit for him to take a nude photo with Jiang Mai. The fans were so excited that as soon as the voting began, Jiang Mai had already started to dominate the rankings. The 3 lists that Jiang Mai referred to were the most popular male actor in the entertainment circle, which everyone fought for every year. There were 2 other lists, most handsome male actor in the entertainment circle and most wanted to sleep with male actor in the entertainment circle. He also wanted the most wanted to marry female actor, but his uncle was above him. Plus, with his usual image, girls wanted to sleep with him more, so he didn't think about it. In the past, because the fans had limited votes, each person only had 2 votes. Therefore, Lei Ming would only protect the most important list. But this year, Jiang Mai decided to dominate the list after being provoked by Xing. It was rare for Jiang Mai to be so ambitious and energetic. Lei Ming couldn't ask for more. He had been so busy these 2 days. At the fan meeting, Jiang Mai changed his iconic messy blonde hair. He cut his hair short and washed it back to its original dark brown color. He was wearing a simple black suit. The tailor design wrapped around his thin waist. The carefree look between his eyebrows turned into a calm and restrained light. This was the first time Jiang Mai showed up since he left angrily at the signing ceremony of the world. Thousands of fans who loved him were waiting for him. When they saw such a new idol appear in front of them, all the fans were excited. Oh my God, he's so handsome. I've never seen my like this. He's handsome to a new height. Mom, I'm in love again. In the end, the effect was unexpectedly good. Not only did the votes on those 3 lists increase rapidly, but even the votes on the want to marry most list increased by a lot. On Starlight's side, there were a few young stars who had been in the limelight recently, but their rankings had all fallen by a large margin. Starlight probably knew that they couldn't suppress Jiang Mai anymore, so they tried their best to protect one of them. They threw all their votes to the most popular one, but even so, they still couldn't catch up with Jiang Mai's votes. Lei Ming was extremely excited. I can finally take back the rankings. Last year, because of Jiang Mai's slacking, the list was all taken by the people from Starlight. As soon as Jiang Mai returned to the nanny van, although he still looked mature and steady, his demeanor immediately returned to normal. He scratched his silky hair, raised his eyebrows, and shook his legs. I've told you that as long as I want to, there's nothing I can't do. If a tiger didn't show its might, people would really think that it was Hello Kitty. Daddy will teach you how to be a man. How's Ningxi doing? Jiang Mai asked seriously. Lei Ming looked at the data and frowned. Ningxi, I'm afraid it's a bit tricky. Chapter 1907. On the male star side, there were popular male star, national male idol, national husband, most promising male artist, most wanted to sleep with male artist in the entertainment circle, etc. For the female stars, there were popular female star, national goddess, most promising female artist, and so on. For the male celebrities, national husband and male celebrity I want to sleep with were added to make it more interesting. However, for the female celebrities, it was still a little sensitive when it came to women, so they didn't add these 2 lists. Instead, they only used national goddess. Therefore, in addition to popular female star, national goddess was also very valuable. It was not inferior to popular female star. Lei Ming analyzed. Currently, Ningxi is ranked 4th on the popular female star list. The top 2 are both from Starlight. The first is Han Zixuan, the second is Yin Yu, who worked for Su Tao, and the third is from Fengxing. It's not looking good for the national goddess either. Han Zixuan is ranked 1st with 3 times more votes than the second. Jiang Mai's face darkened. He did not speak. Lei Ming continued. Actually, Starlight probably predicted that you wouldn't be able to stop your momentum this time, so they didn't spend too much effort on your side. They probably didn't expect you to be so ruthless, not even leaving a single piece of the pie for them. Lei Ming paused and said, but as for Han Zixuan, so many things have happened just now. Han Zixuan was slapped in the face by Ningxi, so she must fight for the ranking this time. Otherwise, if Ningxi takes the top spot as soon as she comes back, it's like saying that Han Zixuan is not as popular as Ningxi, who just came back from retirement. The top spot is just a title. It doesn't seem that important, but the impact of the public opinion on the top spot is huge. Jiang Mai sneered, as if he had expected it. So, Starlight will help Han Zixuan occupy the top 2 spots no matter what. Lei Ming nodded. That's right. You know that Xianxia is not in a good situation now. If Starlight uses all their resources to help Han Zixuan fight for the top spot, it's useless no matter how much we advertise. The gap is too big. Therefore, even though Ningxi's comeback was so successful and her press conference was so successful, it was impossible for her to surpass Han Zixuan. Go find Su Tao. I'll buy a ticket for Ning Xiaoxi myself, Jiang Mai said angrily. Lei Ming didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Little princess, you know it's not a matter of money. Not to mention that the number of tickets we can get is limited. Besides, you have to ask for Ningxi's opinion, right? Hearing that, Jiang Mai picked up his phone and called Ningxi angrily. Hey, Ning Xiaoxi. Hey, nephew, you look so handsome today. Ningxi's teasing voice came from the other end of the phone. Obviously, she had seen his fan meeting. Jiang Mai was originally full of anger, but when he heard this, his anger was immediately extinguished. He was even happy, and his handsome face was full of pride. Of course, when young master gets serious and handsome, I'll be handsome all over your faces. That's not right. Who the hell did you just call an outsider? Jiang Mai avoided Lei Ming, gritted his teeth, and said in a low voice, What are you shouting for? I'm telling you something serious. Chapter 1908. Yes, Senior Jiang. What advice do you have for me? Ning, she spoke sensibly. Jiang Mai immediately began to talk. What advice can I have for you? Don't you know how important the ranking list is to your comeback? Do you want to be trampled by Han Zixuan's fake product? Why don't you care about it at all? Pull up the tickets. Nowadays, good wine doesn't need to fear the dark alley. If you don't shout, nothing will happen. Who will care about you? You really need to change your bad habit of burying your head in acting. Didn't Su Tao teach you anything? You know how to act tough, roll on the ground, and act cute. If you really can't. Ning, she laughed. If I really can't, don't want to post nude photos like you? Jiang Mai jumped up immediately. Of course not. I'm a man, so it doesn't matter. I could just post a half-naked photo to fool them. How can you do that? Dream on. I mean, if you really can't do it, you can pretend to be weak and coquettish. All men fall for it. I didn't expect Senior Jiang to fall for it. I mean most men. Most of them. Jiang Mai shouted and then snorted discontentedly. What are you laughing at? This is a very serious matter. Didn't you say we would slaughter the list together? It's rare for me to be so serious. Don't drop the ball at the critical moment. He just wanted to climb to the top with her, slaughter the list together. If he was alone, it would be so boring. Ningxi was more or less influenced by Jiang Mai's rare serious look these days. Even Jiang Mai was so serious. How could she slack off? It was fine if he didn't do it. Since she was back, she would naturally do her best. After a while, the girl's seemingly careless voice came from the other end of the phone. Don't worry, Senior Jiang. I will slaughter the list this time. Although her tone was light, it made Jiang Mai's heart beat violently. Inexplicably, he believed that she could really do it. But Jiang Mai still miscalculated after all. He never expected that. Ningxi's so-called slaughter would be so inhumane that she would slaughter him too, dear town. Lu Tingxiao didn't know much about the entertainment industry, especially the messy rankings. However, because of Ningxi, he learned about it from the system. He also knew that this ranking was very important to Ningxi. Do you need help? Lu Tingxiao walked to the girl's side. Hearing this, Ningxi turned to kiss Lu Tingxiao's chin and smiled. No need. You don't have to use a sledgehammer to crack a nut. There was no way she would bother her sweetheart to deal with someone of that level. Lu Tingxiao looked at the familiar bright light in the girl's eyes, which was 30% arrogant and 70% free and easy. His pupils suddenly contracted, and the temperature of his blood immediately began to rise. For some things, once the floodgates were opened, it would be as difficult as ascending to the heavens to continue controlling them. One look from her, one subtle expression from her, was enough to make the self-control that he was so proud of fall apart and turn into nothingness by the time he reacted. He had already bent down and kissed the girl's soft and sweet lips. Ningxi was suddenly kissed while she was talking. She blinked her eyes in confusion, but she quickly accepted this unexpected kiss. When you're done with your work, I'll take you to a place, Lu Tingxiao said. Oh Wu, sweetheart, actually wanted to take me play? Ningxi immediately nodded in anticipation. She was even more motivated to work. Sure. Chapter 1909. Starlight Entertainment. Zheng Anru looked at Han Zixuan and heaved a sigh of relief. It's only the first day, and her votes are so high. It's impossible for her to be overtaken. I told you not to take that has-been actress seriously. She only knows how to play tricks. When it comes to real strength, she will be defeated. And the so-called strength not only referred to personal strength, but also the company behind her, her connections, and her resources. How many resources could Ningxi have? Han Zixuan looked at her position at the top of the list indifferently. Her expression didn't change. It was just as she expected. Starlight would never allow her to be overtaken by Ningxi. However, when she saw Jiang Mai's high ranking, Han Zixuan's face darkened. Zheng Anru noticed Han Zixuan's gaze and knew what she was thinking. She explained helplessly, Jiang Mai has always been popular. Now that the truth has been revealed and the scandal has been cleared, his popularity will inevitably increase. Besides, I don't know what happened to Jiang Mai this time. He didn't pay much attention in the past, but this time he suddenly worked so hard. In order to make sure that you can overtake Ningxi, Starlight has invested all their resources in you. So I'm afraid you won't be able to keep your position on the male star list. Han Zixuan naturally knew this, but how could she bear it? Jiang Mai was an unappreciative person who made her look bad time and time again. He even caused her to be scolded by his fans. Naturally, she couldn't bear to see him get any better. However, she also knew that her top priority was to overtake Ningxi. She couldn't be distracted to deal with Jiang Mai, so she had to bear it for the time being. The voting period was 1 week. In the next few days, Ningxi increased her efforts to solicit votes. Under the planning of Su Tao and Liang Feixing, Ningxi's votes soared, and she successfully ranked second on both lists. However, there was still a big gap between her and Han Zixuan, who ranked first. It was obvious that Starlight had invested all their resources in Han Zixuan. Her votes were terrifying, and it seemed that she wouldn't give way to either of the two lists. Because Han Zixuan was firmly suppressing her, Ningxi's hard-earned second place was not only useless, but even more ironic. Seeing that there was only 1 day left, there was almost no suspense left in the rankings. With such an intense effort to canvass for votes, the fans' tickets had almost been squeezed dry. It was almost impossible to make a comeback on the last day. Although Jiang Mai had successfully dominated 3 rankings, his face was extremely gloomy. If I had known that woman was so cunning, I would have asked my fans to vote for you directly. Over the past few days, Han Zixuan had been jumping up and down, using all kinds of methods. First, she used her status to snatch all the best jobs, then went around to advertise and canvass for votes. Finally, she even fainted from exhaustion on the set. Zheng Anru took the opportunity to complain about how hard her Zixuan worked, acting pitiful. What's the hurry? It's not the end yet. Ningxi glanced at Jiang Mai, who was blinking back and forth. Looking at Ningxi's calm demeanor, a certain eunuch almost died of anger. There's only 1 day left. How can I not be anxious? There's also tomorrow night's Starlight Night, Ningxi said, her eyes shining with a mysterious light. Jiang Mai curled his lips and muttered, "What's the use of that? Besides, it'll be too late by then." Chapter 1910. Starlight Night was the awards ceremony of Entertainment Light. Not only would it be broadcasted live on many online platforms, but it would also be broadcasted on 4 major TV channels. The banquet would start at 8 p.m. sharp. After the 4-hour banquet, all the rankings would be announced at 12 a.m. sharp, and the awards would be given out. In other words, there were only 4 hours left before the Starlight Night ended. What could they do in 4 hours? It was no wonder that Jiang Mai was so anxious. But there was no other way except for the last gamble. They had decided to perform the classic opera The Phantom that night. This opera is mainly about a Paris opera house. Strange things happen frequently. The original prima donna was almost crushed to death. The theater appeared a creepy, illusory male voice. This voice came from the theater's underground labyrinth, the ghost living in the theater's underground labyrinth. The Phantom, in the name of the opera, referred to this ghost. The Phantom fell in love with the actress Christine, secretly taught her how to sing, and helped her get the role of the lead actress. Christine, on the other hand, loved the theater manager, Raoul, and because of jealousy, the Phantom began to kill and imprison him. At the end of the story, the female lead Christine used a kiss to call back the beauty and kindness in the Phantom's heart. The Phantom realized that her love for Christine had surpassed her possessiveness, so she gave in to Christine and Raoul, leaving the cloak and the mask behind, and disappeared into the dark underground maze alone. This opera was mysterious and beautiful, and it had been adapted into various themes, including movies. It was one of the most classic operas. This time, they had arranged for Ning to play the role of the female lead Christine, and Xianxia to play the role of the tall and handsome Raoul. Because the difficulty of the Phantom was very high, and they were pressed for time, they had invited a professional opera actor to help them. Thinking of this, Xianxia's head hurt even more. Not to mention the difficulty of performing an opera, both acting and singing skills were indispensable. Even the most experienced artists might not be able to perform well in an opera. More importantly, how many people would still be interested in something like opera these days? Even if they could perform well, it would be a waste. They might as well dance and sing a pop song like everyone else. However, Xianxia insisted, so he had no choice but to cooperate with the rehearsal. Fortunately, he had played music before acting. Although he hadn't sung for a long time, he could still perform well after some practice. He didn't want to say anything more about Xianxia, that omnipotent freak. Starlight Entertainment. Han Zixuan Studio. The room was filled with expensive clothes and accessories, dazzling the eyes. Up until now, there was almost no possibility that Han Zixuan's votes would be surpassed. They were not worried about this. However, he couldn't let his guard down for tomorrow night's Starlight Night. After all, Xianxia was known as the red carpet queen back then. None of them, Han Zixuan, looked at the expensive clothes with disdain. The stylist looked embarrassed. These are the best we have. Zixuan, look at this. It's a 100-year commemorative collection from House C. They never lend it out. It took me a lot of effort. Han Zixuan's face instantly turned cold. Are you questioning my taste? How could that be? I got it. I'll continue to look for other things. For the sake of this gift, the stylist had been so busy for the past few days that she had almost vomited blood. At this moment, she could only suppress her anger. Chapter 1911. As the stylist tidied up the room full of gowns, she complained in her heart. She was too picky. What did she want to wear? A dragon robe? Xianxia wore a plain white cheongsam, but she still dominated the audience. In the end, the clothes depended on the person. If the person was not good, what was the use of being picky about clothes, of course? She absolutely did not dare to say a word of these rebellious words. She could only go out with her tail between her legs to continue looking. Shortly after the stylist left, Zheng Anru came in. Looking at the room full of gowns and Han Zixuan's ugly face, Zheng Anru immediately knew what had happened. She walked over and comforted her with a relaxed smile. Zixuan, are you still worried about the gown? Don't worry, what decent gown can they get? Don't worry, President Ning has already sent someone abroad to help you get it. It will be here before tomorrow night. Hearing this, Han Zixuan's face relaxed a little. Since President Ning helped her get it, there must be no problem. Thinking of something, Han Zixuan looked up at Zheng Anru and asked, "Did you find out about Ningxi's program?" At the mention of this, Zheng Anru immediately laughed. Yes, they've been rehearsing recently. What kind of old opera is it? How could they think of it? Opera. Han Zixuan also sneered. They think they're elegant and different. I think they're crazy to show off. Look at what era it is now. We'll be interested in that kind of thing. Don't let the audience fall asleep. That will be funny. Zheng Anru looked disdainful. Then she said excitedly, "Zixuan, your dance will definitely amaze everyone." In the blink of an eye, it was the last day. In Su Tao's office, A young female artist sat on the sofa, twisting her fingers and looking nervous. Brother Tao, I can't, such an important thing. What if I screw it up? Su Tao advised her earnestly. Qin Shuang, you have been in the industry for so many years, and you have always been very diligent. I've seen all of this. You only lack an opportunity. Now that the opportunity has fallen on your head, you still push it away. Don't you think you are stupid? Qin Shuang still looked flustered. Did brother she suddenly decide to change to another program? So you want me to replace her as the female lead? It's not that I don't want to help, but I'm really worried that I won't be able to do it well. I'm afraid that I might cause trouble for the company. She was just a C-list artist. How could she be qualified to attend such an important event and take on such a crucial task? Ning, she didn't change her program. She just changed her role. Su Tao didn't explain much and continued to persuade him. What are you afraid of? You don't believe in yourself, but don't you believe in Ningxi and me? You have a professional background, and before you entered the industry, you had always been doing stage plays and operas. You are very familiar with the Phantom, so no one else but you. Ningxi has mentioned it to me before. She said that she wants to help you. This is a great opportunity for you to make a comeback, silly girl. When Su Tao said this, Qin Shuang felt even more pressure. I still don't think I can. Su Tao tried his best to coax and deceive her, but in the end, this lass still refused to budge. He simply wanted to vomit blood. This girl was good in every way. She had always done things in a down-to-earth manner, but the bad thing was that she was too down-to-earth, so she didn't have enough courage. Chapter 19:12. At this moment, the door of the fitting room behind Su Tao was pushed open by a slender white finger, and a man wearing a classic European retro tuxedo walked out. Under the mask, the man's exquisite lips, as if carved by the hand of God, opened slightly. What's wrong? Qin Shuang is unwilling? Qin Shuang looked at the man, who suddenly appeared in front of her, and blurted out a cry of surprise. Her eyes were full of incredible, and her eyes were quickly red and moist. The whole person seemed to be so excited that her lips trembled, and she couldn't even speak. The man in front of her was wearing a full white dress, which was the most exquisite and expensive style of men's clothing in medieval Europe's upper class. It was a classic tuxedo with a white shirt and bow tie, paired with a black wool shawl decorated with antique black jade. He looked like a noble young master who had walked out of an oil painting. Brother Shi. Qin Shuang is one of Ning Shi's hardcore, die-hard fans, and naturally recognizes at a glance that the celestial being in front of her is Ning Shi in men's clothing. The next second, Qin Shuang almost did not hesitate to open his mouth. I do. She had never expected that the reason why Ning Shi suddenly gave up the leading role was not because she wanted to change the program, but because she wanted to play the difficult role of Phantom as a man. However, looking at the person in front of her, looking at Ning Shi in men's clothing that she had not seen for a long time, Qin Shuang's heart was suddenly full of certainty. If it is Brother Shi, it must be possible. Even she herself, at the thought of acting with Brother Shi, suddenly all the fear and anxiety in her heart disappeared. Su Tao was dumbfounded when he saw Ning Shi changing her clothes and coming out. He was stunned for a long time before he reacted. He forcibly pulled back his gaze that was almost glued to Ning Shi's body. Fuck, I'm a straight man, but I was almost turned gay by your handsomeness. Even though he already knew how scary Ning Shi was in men's clothing, after seeing her again a year later, Ning Shi had always looked like a fairy. Not only him, but almost everyone had forgotten what Ning Shi looked like in men's clothing. Now that he saw it again, the impact was simply unimaginable. Don't say anything else, just look at Qin Shuang. That girl's reaction can predict one or two. The corner of Su Tao's mouth twitched, and he snorted unhappily. It's good to be handsome. It's useless even if I talk until my mouth breaks. You want me to agree just because I said something? Qin Shuang suddenly blushed and lowered her head. She was reluctant to move her gaze away from Ning Shi's body. The watery and sparkling little eyes were like looking at her long-lost first love. Brother Shi, the role you're going to play is a ghost? Qin Shuang looked at Ning Shi's costume and the mask in his hand and asked. Ning Shi nodded. Yeah, that's what Brother Tao and I were planning to do. The reason why we only informed you on the last day was because we were worried that Starlight would find out about our plan. Qin Shuang nodded again and again. So that's how it is. Ning Shi finished, picked up the white mask in his hand, covered half of his face, looked at Qin Shuang and asked, You are more professional. How about this? Will it be incompatible? Qin Shuang covered her small heart that was about to jump out and fly to the opposite side. She shook her head like a rattled drum and blurted out, How could it be? Not at all. If I were Christine, I would definitely choose you, not Raoul. Just as Qin Shuang finished this sentence, the door of Su Tao's office was pushed open from the outside. When Raoul pushed the door, Jiang Mai happened to hear Qin Shuang's words and suddenly exploded. Fuck! Why? Why don't you choose me? The moment he said this, Jiang Mai saw Ning Shi behind Qin Shuang in a retro dress, and half of her face was covered by a mask. Fuck this young master's dog eyes. Chapter 19:13. My God, my eyes. Jiang Mai covered his blinded eyes with his hands in agony. Damn it. How could he forget this bastard's ultimate skill? He was wondering why she suddenly wanted to perform in an opera. It turned out that she had already dug such a big pit. Ha! Han Zixuan could steal all of Ning Shi's resources and imitate everything about Ning Shi, but there was one thing that she never dared to try. He vaguely remembered that Han Zixuan had actually tried to dress as a man once. But it was no less shocking than Liang Biqin, who stole Ning Shi's I Only Like You. She had made a fool of herself by imitating Ning Shi. Because the traces of imitating Ning Shi were too obvious, it even caused a group of Ning Shi's die-hard fans to ridicule her. Later, Xing Hui made great efforts to erase all the traces and never thought of letting Han Zixuan take the path of killing both men and women again. At this moment, although Jiang Mai was almost blind, he couldn't help but look at the opposite side. He was so angry. She was actually more handsome than him. If he were a woman, he would want to marry her. Bah, what was he thinking about? Jiang Mai got rid of the disappointing thoughts in his mind. Although he was extremely jealous, he was still very stubborn. He snorted, squinted at her, and said disdainfully, It's not that exaggerated. It's just SOSO. Hearing that, Ning Shi raised her eyebrows slightly. Her fingers stroked the white mask on her face, and she took a step closer to Jiang Mai unhurriedly. She dragged her voice and said, Really? Just SOSO? Jiang Mai took a step back vigilantly. That's right. Oh. Ning Shi narrowed her eyes and took another step closer. Then do you believe that? I can turn you gay in 3 seconds? Ouch. Jiang Mai immediately jumped away and hid in a corner with his hands over his head. Brother, I was wrong. Please let me go. He would never be so mean again. He didn't want to be as miserable as Xianxia, who was forced to turn gay and couldn't be hard in front of a woman, although that guy deserved it. It was really too miserable. Qin Shuang looked at the interaction between the two and burst into laughter. Elder brother Shi and senior Jiang are so lovey-dovey and well-matched. She almost felt that she was an unnecessary female lead. Su Tao's eyes lit up, and he rubbed his hands excitedly. All right, stop playing. Time is limited. Hurry up and rehearse. In the following time, the whole rehearsal hall was filled with Jiang Mai's angry roars. Hey, Qin Xiaoshuang. I'm the male lead, okay? Are you giving your affectionate eyes to the wrong person? Christine, I am your childhood sweetheart, your love. Are you going to cheat on me? Ning Xiaoxi, that's enough. My female lead is about to be teased to death by you. Can't you just follow the script? What's your major? Fuck, because I'm not attractive enough? How could yours truly not be charming enough? Just you wait. The final result was that the fish in the moat suffered when the city gate was on fire. Jiang Mai was instantly provoked by Ning Shi and began to act. Qin Shuang was almost fascinated by the two handsome men. She found that acting with elder brother, she was really magical. She could always easily bring people into the play and bring out the greatest potential of the other party. After the chaotic rehearsal, they went to have a meal together and then began to do makeup and get ready for the upcoming Starlight Night. Chapter 1914. While doing the modeling, Xiaomai began to circle Ning Shi anxiously again. Ning Shi, have you chosen your gown? What are you going to wear tonight? I've just asked around. What antique level is that fake wearing tonight? Which royal concubine's gown is worth hundreds of millions? Just renting it for a day costs 8 million. We can't lose to her. Oh, Xiaomai talked for a long time, but Ning Shi only gave him one word. Xiaomai was about to vomit. What do you mean by oh? Say something. What are you going to wear? Ning Shi, I'll just wear a sack. Xiaomai, I'm serious. Stop fooling around. I'm so tired. He finally understood the pain of an agent facing an uncooperative artist. At 8 o'clock in the evening, the long-awaited Starlight Night finally began. Everyone was cheering for their idol on the video websites and in front of their TVs. On the red carpet, stars shone brightly as all the big stars signed their contracts and entered. Lu Xiaoro was wearing a centennial gown of House C, which made her look very noble and elegant. The host tactfully praised, Xiaoro is so beautiful today. Yeah, this gown seems to be the centennial gown of House C. I haven't seen anyone in the entertainment circle wear it yet. In the past, Lu Xiaoro might have been happy to be complimented like this. But now, she couldn't feel happy at all. Although this gown was precious, it was given to her because Han Zixuan didn't want it. It didn't fit her character or her temperament at all, but she didn't have a choice. When she was in Xianxia, Su Tao carefully arranged everything for her and chose the most suitable gown for her. But when it came to Starlight, all the best resources, all the rankings, and even the best gowns were given to the big stars like Han Zixuan. The big screen on the left of the stage showed the real-time votes. Lu Xiaoro didn't feel good when she saw her last place in the poll. But even Yin Yuyu was suppressed by Han Zixuan and could only be the second place forever. What could she say? At this time, Lu Xiaoro didn't expect to meet someone. Senior Sister Qin? Lu Xiaoro looked surprised. Xiaoro, although she was already prepared and expected to encounter such an occasion, Qin Shuang's expression was still somewhat uncomfortable. It's really you. Huh, I thought I was mistaken. Lu Xiaoro looked up and down at the woman in a low-key dark dress, looking surprised to see her in such an occasion. After all, with Qin Shuang's position, she is not qualified to participate in this kind of occasion. What? You're here to attend the banquet too? Lu Xiaoro asked, even though she already knew the answer. Join in the fun. Qin Shuang did not say much. She had entered the industry a few years earlier than Lu Xiaoro and was even called a senior by her. However, she was still a third-rate actress and could not lift her head in front of Lu Xiaoro. Lu Xiaoro crossed her arms over her chest, sizing up Qin Shuang, shaking her head and sighing, Senior Sister Qin, it's not that I want to criticize you, but although your popularity is unbearable, but because Sister Yuyu and I helped you put in a lot of good words, Xing Hui originally wanted to pack a bag and poach you along with them. But you actually don't appreciate it. What's the point of staying in Golden Era? Hee, don't tell me you still believe in Su Tao's words? He said that you're stronger than others, that you have a solid foundation, that you're stronger than me and Yuyu, and that you're just missing an opportunity to soar into the sky. Chapter 1915. Lu Xiaoro seemed to be talking about something funny. You are so naive. As soon as Ning Shi comes back, all the resources will naturally belong to her. Do you think there will be a day for you? Qin Shuang listened to these harsh words and remained silent from beginning to end. She had a very important task tonight. She couldn't let Brother Shi and Brother Tao down. She didn't want to complicate the problem. Lu Xiaoro was originally very upset, but when she saw Qin Shuang's fate, she didn't dare to refute her sarcasm and left dejectedly. Lu Xiaoro immediately felt a lot better. On the other side, accompanied by the excited cheers and screams of the girls, Jiang Mai entered the stage. Compared with his relatively casual outfit on the day of the fan meeting, Jiang Mai's outfit could be said to have been carefully prepared from beginning to end. From the custom-made suit to the wristwatch, and even the cufflinks, they were all made by famous designers. The whole set would cost at least tens of millions of yuan. Originally, Xianxia had a good foundation. With this outfit, the group of girls was even more attracted to him. None of the male stars and fresh meats present could catch up with him. With Xianxia's amazing appearance, his votes on the big screen on the left also rose rapidly. Although he had achieved the desired effect, Xianxia still frowned secretly. Just now, he was interrupted by Xianxia halfway through his conversation with her, so he didn't know what kind of gown she was wearing today. How come he found that he was becoming more and more like an old woman? While he was worrying bitterly, a trace of cold light suddenly flashed in Xianxia's eyes. Han Zixuan arrived. This time, Starlight Entertainment really spent a lot of money. In addition to the antique gown on Han Zixuan's body, the jewelry on her neck and wrists were all worth more than 10 million yuan. Even the seemingly inconspicuous earrings were worth more than 1 million yuan. Even an idiot would become taller in this outfit. With so much money spent, naturally it was effective. Han Zixuan's appearance immediately caused the audience to exclaim in surprise. The host showered Han Zixuan with lavish praise, listing out the origins of every item on Han Zixuan. This made all the other female stars on the scene envious, jealous, and hateful. No wonder Han Zixuan wants to jump ship to Starlight Entertainment. They are really rich. Isn't that so? It's just a night of starlight, but they actually spent so much money. But it's no wonder. Xianxia made a comeback and slapped Han Zixuan in the face several times. If she loses again this time, will she hide her face? Of course, Starshine wouldn't allow such a thing to happen. Why isn't Xianxia here yet? I wonder what she'll be wearing today. Golden Era may not be as strong as Starlight, but this is their only chance to turn the tables. They'll probably give it their all. It's just that no matter what, it can't compare to Starshine's extravagance. I think they'll definitely be suppressed. After Han Zixuan walked the red carpet and entered the venue, everyone was gossiping and curious to see how Xianxia would perform tonight. Of course, this also included Han Zixuan. This outfit gave her enough confidence and confidence. Finally, Xianxia appeared before everyone's eyes. The next one to enter is the Golden Palm film queen that we haven't seen for a year. Xianxia craned his neck and raised his head. The next second, he was dumbfounded. He had always thought that Xianxia was deliberately toying with him, but never would he have thought that this girl actually put on a sack and came here. Although the design of the dress she was wearing was very beautiful and smooth, wasn't it just an ordinary linen dress? Chapter 1916. Han Zixuan sat in the audience, her face as black as the bottom of a pot. This feeling was as if she had exhausted all her efforts to prepare for a battle with the enemy. She was armed with knives and axes, and her body was covered with explosives. However, the enemy was unarmed and dressed in plain clothes, leisurely walking towards her. It was as if she was an ant that was not worth mentioning. The luxurious clothes that gave her confidence were now like ropes binding her body, filling her with a sense of humiliation. After a moment of astonishment, there was a burst of laughter. That's awesome. Han Zixuan is dressed like this, but Xianxia came with a sack. She doesn't take her seriously at all. They are not on the same level at all. Han Zixuan trembled with anger. She had never been so angry when Xianxia wore a white cheongsam and stole her limelight last time. Seeing that Han Zixuan was about to lose control of her emotions, Zheng Anru hurried to comfort her. Zixuan, don't be angry. Don't bother with that bitch who only knows how to play tricks. Although she humiliated us, she can't win any fans with her looks. Our ultimate goal tonight is to get the list. Then we'll get all the first places and slap her in the face. I want all the lists. Of course. After sitting down, Xianxia glanced at Xianxia with an indescribable expression. Who gave you this idea? What? Xianxia raised her eyebrows. That's too bitch. Xianxia told the truth. At this time, a head popped out from behind. Su Tao said unhappily, "Hey, what are you talking about? Don't you think it's great? You can save money if you piss Han Zixuan off." The corner of Xianxia's mouth twitched. Your focus is on saving money, right? Su Tao said seriously, you can't say that. Everything is for the company. Jiangmai was speechless. This Su Tao was really awesome, but you're being too careless. You should respect the organizer, right? Jiangmai muttered. She supported her head with her hand and said carelessly, what's the hurry? There's an awards ceremony later. I'll change then. Jiangmai, this tone of, I can show off after I win the award. Do you have to be so arrogant? At this time, the camera suddenly pointed in their direction. Shi immediately smiled and greeted the fans behind the camera. Overwhelming smile was only SOSO. On the big screen, Shi's votes kept rising. Han Zixuan's votes were twice as many as Shi's. Shi's growth couldn't surpass Han Zixuan's, but Xing Hui had already thrown out all the votes in his hands, and he had basically reached the limit. Jiangmai subconsciously glanced to the side. Shi's soft and comfortable clothes, her soft hair casually draped over her shoulders, and a spring breeze-like smile on her face were even more attractive than her usual dazzling appearance. There was a kind of power that didn't have any killing power, but it quietly warmed people's hearts. It made people feel that the person in front of them was full of light, warmth, and love. It was to the extent that people who looked at her would be infected by such a beautiful feeling. Your clothes were designed by your designer again? Jiangmai couldn't help but ask. How was he always able to discover the unique temperament and moving parts of this lass? She nodded proudly. Yes, it's a new model. So fast. Another new model? Didn't we just see it? Jiangmai was surprised. Chapter 1917. Hearing that, Shi's eyes flashed with a dark light. Their previous return to simplicity had just become popular, and history had followed suit. They even advertised on the official website that Dai Wei had spent half a year on this design. He used his fame to distort the truth and accuse Zhe Ling of plagiarism. Although there were some rational buyers who had seen the order of the launch and understood what was going on, they were still the minority. Fortunately, she had always believed that in the face of real power, all schemes and tricks were in vain. Recently, it was as if her little fresh meat designer had been possessed by the god of design. His inspirations came one after another. He had just come up with Return to Simplicity, and now he had come up with a new theme, which was the series she was wearing called Love. If they had the ability, they would continue to follow suit. They could only play the trick of reversing black and white once. Did they think they were fools? Although she didn't answer, Jiangmai basically understood that the designer couldn't design anything when she wasn't around. But when she came back, she was full of inspiration. Obviously, he regarded she as his muse, the source of inspiration. What's the ranking of our show? Jiangmai asked Su Tao behind him. It's very high. The fourth. You can go backstage to prepare later, Su Tao answered. Damn, why is it so high? Of course it should be the finale, Jiangmai said unhappily. Usually, the more popular the show was, the more likely it was to be the finale. Su Tao rolled his eyes at him. Have you forgotten that we are here to canvass for votes? The most important thing is to buy time. It's better for us to be at the front. Han Zixuan wasn't worried about the votes, so she naturally prepared to be the finale. After the host's opening remarks, the program of the guests began. Generally, on such occasions, there was no other variety except for singing and dancing. As expected, the first 3 performances were all standard performances. One of them was a professional singer, while the other 2 were actors. Regardless of how well they sang, since they were actors, the audience and fans did not have high expectations of them. As long as they were passable, it was fine. After 3 consecutive performances, the audience in the stands were already a little numb. At this time, the host began to announce the 4th program. Next, let's welcome Jiangmai and she to perform the classic opera Phantom. The Phantom is Andrew Lloyd Webber's masterpiece. Its wonderful music, romantic plot, and perfect dance have become an eternal masterpiece in musicals. I wonder what kind of new experience these 2 partners, who have so many CP fans, will bring us. Jiangmai, Ningxi, I can finally see them on the same stage again. The evening field party is satisfied. The audience below the stage immediately began to shout the names of Jiang Mai and Ning Shi, and the fans waiting in front of the live broadcast also began to crazily send messages. Although most of them did not understand opera, there were many fans who had seen the program list in advance and had specially done their homework in advance. I've done some research. Our Muyez temperament is perfect for Raoul's role. Handsome, elegant, and affectionate. There seems to be a perverted ghost with a disfigured face who has been wearing a mask all this time. It keeps pestering Christine, trying to ruin her relationship with Raoul. But why is it a musical? It's boring. A colleague of mine took me to watch one last time, and I almost fell asleep. Chapter 1918. After a while, the host left the stage. With a thud, the whole stage suddenly fell into darkness. The audience also quieted down, waiting for Ning Shi to appear. Think of me fondly, think of me when we have said goodbye to each other occasionally. Remember me if you have a moment of leisure, share some of your thoughts with me. Accompanied by an affectionate and melodious singing, the lights on the stage lit up. The audience immediately opened their eyes wide to look, and the next second, everyone was stunned. Because in the center of the stage, wearing a gorgeous medieval European dress, the female lead singing, Christine, was not Ning Shi. Hey, am I hallucinating? Why isn't the female lead Ning Shi? What's going on? Who is that? She looks familiar, but I can't remember her name. Was there a mistake somewhere? Didn't they say Ning Shi and Jiang Mai? The audience was in an uproar as they whispered to each other. Then a man's voice rang out. Is it possible? Could be Christine? A long time ago. It seems so long ago we were so young and naive. She may not remember me, but I remember her. Jiang Mai appeared. Because of Christine's singing on the stage, Raoul, who was listening at the side, suddenly recalled the girl in front of him. She was his childhood playmate. At this moment, Xianxia naturally saw the strange eyes of the audience. She suppressed the uneasiness in her heart and continued to sing with Jiang Mai. Thinking back to those days, thinking back to those times, thinking back to those things we have never done, there is not a day that I don't think of you. Xianxia's gorgeous dress made her palm-sized, delicate face exceptionally charming, and her moving voice was even more intoxicating. While the audience was full of doubts, they couldn't help but continue to watch. A pair of lovers holding hands with tears in their eyes, recognizing each other and telling each other their hearts. Raoul, played by Jiang Mai, couldn't resist the love in his heart. He asked Christine for a date, and Christine readily agreed. The atmosphere on the stage was sweet. However, when Christine went back to her room to change clothes, suddenly there was a distant and empty song in the air. Night comes, feeling gradually sharp and clear. Dark night flows, awakening imagination, because this is the symphony of the night. This low, hoarse voice was like the singing of a siren, causing people's hearts and souls to tremble. Not only did it attract Christine on the stage, but it also made the audience below the stage and the fans in front of the live broadcast, who were originally restless because of the sudden substitution, subconsciously hold their breaths and stare. This voice, why does it sound so familiar? On the VIP stand, Han Zixuan frowned. Zheng Enru sneered. These people are playing tricks. What kind of tricks are they playing? To actually let Qin Shuang, a small third line, come to the female lead. Is there something wrong with her brain? Han Zixuan didn't say anything. She felt like she had overlooked something, but she couldn't remember what it was. Softly, softly, let the music caress you. Listen to it. Touch it. Give yourself to it silently. Christine was bewitched by the song and forgot about her promise with Raoul. She followed the direction of the music and opened the door of the secret room in a daze. She walked towards a mysterious underground secret room. At this moment, all the audience and fans have been attracted by the plot, staring at Qin Shuang, waiting, what will Christine find in the end? Chapter 1919. Open your heart. You don't have to struggle anymore in the darkness, in the boundless darkness of the movement of the night. Close your eyes and set off to a strange new world. Finally, Christine was led by the song to open a door and arrived at the mysterious kingdom of darkness. At the same time, the audience's curiosity had reached its peak. However, at this time, Christine suddenly fainted in the beautiful song. The moment the audience's heart fell to the bottom of the abyss, a black shadow flashed by and Christine fell into an embrace. He was wearing a British-style tuxedo, a woolen cloak, and a white mask. The half of his face that was exposed was breathtakingly beautiful. He was so elegant and noble, but he exuded a gloomy and evil aura. He stared at the girl who was unconscious in his arms. His eyes were full of jealousy and possessiveness, as if they could burn everything. The whole scene was silent, as if time had stopped. Han Zixuan finally remembered what she had forgotten, and her face turned as white as paper. But it was too late. Everything was too late. After a short silence, the audience burst into earth-shattering screams. Brother Shi, am I dreaming? No one had expected that, even the fans who knew the plot of The Phantom. Ningxi would play the role of the ghost in men's clothes instead of the female lead. Seeing Ningxi in men's clothes and seeing the long-lost Brother Shi, they were as excited as seeing Ningxi again at the promotional ceremony of the world. On the big screen on the left, Ningxi's votes were rising like crazy, and Jiang Mai's eyes almost cramped. Damn it, did it have to be so exaggerated? Wasn't it just a change of clothes? And only half of her face was exposed. What's so good about being black? Look at yours truly. Look at me. Look at my shiny golden body. Yours truly is clearly more handsome. However, Jiang Mai, who was looking for the missing female lead on the stage, was basically invisible. Not only was the woman stolen, but the fans also ignored him. She was not disturbed at all. He was still completely immersed in the plot. He gently put Christine on the bed, and his slender white fingers couldn't help but touch her cheek. Abandon all your thoughts about the past of the secular world. Close your eyes and let the music free you until then. Until then, you belong to me. The moment the words belong to me were uttered, the screams from the audience were so loud that the roof was about to be torn apart. In the next second, she held the girl's hand and gently placed it on his chest. He lowered his eyes and slowly approached the girl's lips, drifting, falling, sweetly drunk. To touch me, to trust me, to savor every feeling. At this moment, the roof was about to be blown off. All the girls on the scene were trembling with excitement. Their faces were red and their hearts were racing. It was as if the one lying on the bed was them who was about to be kissed. Even the men could not avoid it. Every one of them blushed. Moreover, they were not imagining themselves as a ghost. Instead, they were imagining themselves as the female lead. The pitiful boys could only keep muttering that they were straight, desperately trying to brainwash themselves with their goddess. In the end, he realized that the goddess wasn't even as good-looking as him. What was worse was that he found out that his goddess was Ningxi. Oh no, I'm bent. Chapter 1920. Noble but evil, crazy but restrained. Her face was ruined, but she was still breathtakingly beautiful. Such a contradiction was perfectly integrated in Ningxi's body. She gave Ghost a new life. Ghost quietly looked at the girl on the bed and sang in a very bewitching way. Let the dream begin. Let the darkness in your heart fade. Bow to my music, bow to the power of the music of the night, accompanied by the seductive voice. Whether it was the fans at the scene, the audience in front of the TV, or the people watching the live broadcast, no matter men or women at this moment, all of them bowed down to the person on the stage. Ningxi's singing was not bad. It was a combination of traditional singing and popular singing, but there was still a gap when compared to absolute professional singing. However, the emotion contained in her voice was incomparable to any professional singer. She had completely integrated her acting skills into the music. After a little makeup, the low, hoarse, and moving voice that belonged to a young man and a woman, and the enchanting half-face that disregarded gender were enough to make people go crazy. Just as the audience was intoxicated, the lights on the stage suddenly dimmed. When the lights came on again, Ghost had disappeared. Christine lay back in her room, as if all this was just a dream. The musical, which had originally received very little attention and acceptance by the public, had now completely attracted everyone's attention. Everyone was waiting with rapt attention for the next performance. The directors of the 4 major satellite TV stations received the notice almost at the same time. At this time, the ratings were rising rapidly, and it was expected to break the record of Starlight Night over the past 10 years. Needless to say, the popularity of the live broadcast of Starlight Night had soared to the first place. Following that, Christine and Ghost spent a period of time together like a teacher and a friend. Ghost secretly taught Christine how to sing and removed all obstacles for Christine. She even did not hesitate to get injured and kill people to push her to the position of the female lead. However, all this in exchange for only Christine's fear, and her feelings for Raoul became more and more inseparable. After the accident on the stage, Christine and Raoul took advantage of everyone's panic and escaped to the roof. There, she told Raoul what had happened to her, and Raoul expressed his long-hidden love for Christina, and they sang All I Ask of You to express their love for each other. The spirits saw all of this, and it was pained by Raoul's obsession with Christina and Christina's betrayal. It decided to curse them. Finally, he could not take it anymore. In his anger, he cursed, and at the end of the performance of Faust, the giant chandelier on the stage fell on Christine, pouring out his anger and warning. At this point, the plot entered the second act. Half a year passed, and the haunting Ghost never appeared again. The chandelier was repaired, and a fancy dress party was held in the theater to celebrate this new life. Christina and Raoul, who were secretly engaged, danced hand in hand in the crowd. Just as the fun was going on, a guest wearing a Red Death mask suddenly appeared. Everyone was shocked by this strange and scary costume. It was Spectre, who had been missing for a long time. Under Ghost's meticulous arrangement, he disguised himself as someone else and got the opportunity to share the stage with Christine. Chapter 1921. When Xianxia appeared in front of the audience again in such a demonic red outfit, the livestream website was flooded with comments of lick the screen, especially the song Can't Go Back, that the Ghost was about to sing next. Put down all your defenses, obey, me completely take a step that can't go back, give up thinking. Let the dream continue what a raging flame. Even the soul is drowned, a sweet temptation lies in front of us. The fans in the audience went crazy as Ghost sang softly too. Christine, obey. Brother Xi, I'm yours. My body, my heart, my soul, my everything is yours. I came here right, it's hard to know why in my head. I've imagined that our bodies are intertwined. I decided to take a step that can't go back anymore. Oh my God, our bodies are intertwined. Please let me come. Our game of passion is finally on. Don't think about right or wrong. The last question, how long do we have to wait to become one? When will our blood start to boil? When will the flame of passion devour us? Now. Brother Xi, please devour me. I'm lying flat. The comments in the live stream were overwhelming. Say you'll share everything with me or only love. Your whole life guide me. Save me from my loneliness. Save me. No matter where you go, take me with you. At the end of the song, almost everyone was infected by the Ghost's passionate and hopeless love for the female lead. Even if he was stubborn, even if he was unscrupulous, it was still heartbreaking. To him, the female lead was his everything. She was his only salvation. The truth was, Christine loved Raoul, and she loved the Phantom. Between angel and demon, she lost herself. She kept swaying. She knew that he was dangerous and that he belonged to the darkness. But she couldn't help but get closer to him. On the stage of Don Juan, they got closer and closer and finally hugged each other tightly. This song was like a foreshadowing that two people who shouldn't love each other would inevitably fall in love. Finally, the Phantom sang to Christine the song that Raoul had sung to her as a pledge of love, Alias of Thee. The song woke Christine, and she recognized the Phantom. When the female lead took off the ghost mask on the spot and saw through his identity, everyone didn't sigh in relief. Instead, they felt worried. On the stage, Ghost awkwardly avoided the female lead's line of sight. The other half of his face was completely exposed to the woman he loved the most. All the audience and fans felt extremely distressed. Because everyone's attention was on the stage at this moment, no one noticed that Ningxi's votes were getting closer and closer to Han Zixuan's. Although everyone's votes had almost been squeezed dry in the early stages, there were still some people who preferred to vote at the last moment. In addition, under the intense excitement, everyone spontaneously canvassed votes for each other in private. From their parents, friends, colleagues, to passers-by, the power of the masses could never be measured as long as you had the strength. In the end, the ghost had completely lost its mind and tied Christine up in its underground chamber. Why? Why is the world so unfair to me? Just because I have a scary face, a face that even my mother can't bear to look at. The ghost trembled in extreme pain. Chapter 1922. Christine said agitatedly, "No, it's not that the world is unfair to you. It's not that the world is wrong. It's that you've imprisoned your own inspiration. In order to achieve your goal, you're willing to kill people and take away someone else's love. I'm grateful for your help, but my feelings for you are now only hatred." Hearing these words, hearing the woman he loved say that he hated him, Ningxi's arrogant, angry, and jealous expression instantly became empty. He stood there alone, as if everything had lost its meaning to him. All the audience subconsciously straightened their backs. Their hearts tightened, and their nerves were extremely tense. At this moment, Raoul appeared. Jiangmai was very professional. He shouted, "Your Excellency, please let Christine go. I'm willing to do anything for you." Looking at the man who had taken away the girl he loved, the ghost lost control again. He used a special noose and wrapped it around Raoul's neck. "Ah, don't!" Christine cried out in alarm. The ghost looked at Christine, who was screaming nervously, and forced her to make a choice. "Now I'll give you two choices. Use Raoul's life in exchange for your freedom. If he's dead, I'll let you go. Or put on a wedding dress and become my bride in exchange for Raoul's life." Raoul was also deeply in love with Christine, and he said without hesitation, "Christine, don't agree to him. Don't marry this demon. If you say that you love him in order to save me, then my life will also end." At this moment, the audience and the fans in the live broadcast were all spamming the screen. "What the fuck are you waiting for? Of course, marry the ghost. Marry him. Marry him. If you don't want to marry him, let me do it." When Xianxia heard the urging from the audience, he almost vomited blood. Did girls nowadays like psychopaths and perverts? Damn it. Are you just going to watch me die? Where's your humanity? In the end, this deadlock. How can I solve it? This ungrounded musical had completely aroused everyone's interest. A small number of people who knew what was going to happen next were even more excited. They knew that there would be a kissing scene, a real kissing scene. Ha 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 ha. Faced with the choice given by the ghost, Christine fell into a painful struggle. In the end, she could not bear to see her lover, Raoul, sacrifice himself for her. Her helpless gaze suddenly became resolute. She finally mustered up the courage to raise her head and look at the spirit opposite her. She would tell Phantom how strong the power of love was. God would save his crazy soul in the end. The next second, Christine took a deep breath, took a few steps forward without warning, and gave Phantom a long kiss, although it was just a borrowed position. Qin Shuang's heartbeat was about to explode, and he almost used all his expertise to keep himself from losing his composure on the spot. The moment Ningxi was kissed, everyone at the scene was about to go crazy. The atmosphere reached an unprecedented peak. The viewership ratings of Guardian and the popularity of the live broadcast platform all broke all historical records at this moment. After a short performance, Ningxi's votes on the big screen almost caught up with Han Zixuan's. Suddenly, the girl he loved took the initiative to kiss Spectre. His wild and unruly expression suddenly turned blank. His originally gloomy and frightening face now made people feel that it was incomparably cute. Chapter 1923. A meaningful kiss, a redemptive question, like the light of the Creator in heaven, illuminated the closed heart of Ghost. In the end, he was completely subdued by the strength of Christina's firm love. At the last moment, because of a kiss, he finally understood that true love was not imprisonment or plunder. Ghost stepped back hurriedly and turned around to avoid the girl's sight. At the same time, he loosened the Punjabi sling around Raoul's neck. After a long time, he finally raised his hand with difficulty, waved at Christina and Raoul, and asked them to leave. Christina and Raoul rushed to each other in disbelief. Finally, Christina returned to Ghost, took off the ring that Ghost had put on her, and returned it to him. She looked at her palm and slowly closed it, wrapping the ring in her palm. Step by step, slowly and alone, she walked to the throne in the corner of the stage. She watched the two lovers leave and sang alone. I feel so empty without you. What happened? You left me. I'm sorry, I don't know what to do. I'm trying to continue, but it's so hard. Am I wrong? Or is this just a game? I can't believe you left me. I can't take another day alone. I can't forget you. This pain is going to break me because we're over. I just want you back. I need you back. But I let you go. Now, it's over. The music was getting farther and farther away, and the stage returned to darkness. Everyone felt like a heavy stone was pressing on their hearts, and they couldn't breathe. The last scene. Many years later, Christina had passed away. When Raoul went to the cemetery to pay his respects to her, he found a rose tied with a black ribbon on her grave. The play ended. Until the end of the performance, everyone was still immersed in the plot and couldn't react for a long time. It wasn't until a long time later that the audience burst into thunderous applause. The applause lasted for a long time. The host came to the stage at the right time. I didn't expect Xianxia and Mu to bring us such a big surprise. The solid performance and singing skills of the female lead, Xianxia, also brightened our eyes, bringing us an unparalleled audio-visual feast. Now, let's invite our three leads to the stage. Accompanied by the host's excited voice, Xianxia and Xianmai went on the stage one after another. Both of them were still in their costumes. In this drama, Xianxia's every outfit was gorgeous to the extreme. Her small face, which was originally too low-key and slightly bland, was set off by at least 7 or 8 points, especially when she acted with Xianmai and Xianxia, the two big stars, on the spot. She actually performed so well that she was instantly remembered in the hearts of the audience. Just now, there were already many people searching for information related to her. As for the orange that Xianmai was playing today, if Phantom was a devil, then Raoul, played by Xianmai, was an angel. He was a noble, but he fell in love with his childhood sweetheart, an orphan girl who grew up in the opera house. He loved her. He ran to the roof to confess his love to her. He went to the cemetery to call Christine, who was bewitched. He risked his life to go to the dungeon to save her. At the critical moment of life and death, he told her not to sacrifice her life for him. The ghost was crazy for Christine, but Raoul was willing to sacrifice his life for Christine's happiness. Chapter 1924. The two male leads in the drama were actually very outstanding, making it difficult to choose between them. Xianmai's character also attracted a large number of fans. She was even better. She only showed half of her face, and it was enough to make everyone go crazy. This was a 3-win situation. Because half of Xi's face was disfigured, it took her a long time to make special effects, so it was a little troublesome to remove her makeup at this time. After Xianxia and Xianmai had gone on stage, she slowly walked out from behind the curtain. She was still wearing the same elegant costume, but this time, she had removed the cloak and mask. After removing the disfiguring effects, her stunning face was completely revealed to the audience. Ah, brother Xi, brother Xi, brother Xi, brother Xi, I want to bear your children. Facing the enthusiasm of the fans, Ning, she took the microphone from the MC and said softly, "Thank you, everyone. Long time no see." These 4 words instantly ignited everyone's passion. Brother Shi, long time no see. Long time no see. Brother Shi, we missed you so much. Hubby, I love you. All these years, I've been keeping myself pure for you, waiting for you to come back. Can you do that? After Dream Seeker ended, Ning Shi had indeed not appeared in front of everyone in men's clothing for far too long. What's more, every time Ning Shi changed her outfit, it was as if she had a split personality. She became a completely different person. Her temperament and personality were completely different. It was no wonder that the fans were so excited. As soon as Ning Shi got on the stage and said, "Long time no see," the ranking on the big screen on the left suddenly changed. Ning Shi's votes had surpassed Han Zixuan's, who had twice as many votes as hers, and it was still rising. Han Zixuan and Zheng Anru had been paying attention to the list. When they saw that Ning Shi had surpassed them, their expressions changed. What's wrong with you guys? How could she surpass such a high number of votes? Does Zhao Wenliang have any emergency measures? No matter how calm Han Zixuan was, she couldn't help but panic when she saw the leaderboard on the big screen. Zheng Anru wiped her sweat. "I was too ruthless in the beginning. Now I don't have any banknotes on hand. It's too late to collect some at the last minute. Damn it. Su Tao, that bastard, was simply too sinister. He actually used this move. This was clearly a list of female stars. What did Ning Shi mean by doing this? This was clearly against the rules. I'm going to complain to the organizer." Han Zixuan's expression was extremely cold. You think the organizer doesn't know? Obviously, the host had communicated with Ning Shi at the last moment and acquiesced to Ning Shi's actions. They only needed popularity and popularity. Why would they care about what methods the artists used? They were too careless. They didn't expect that they would change their plan at the last moment. I was wondering why Ning Shi's program was arranged so early. It turns out that she was waiting for us here. Our program is currently the finale, but I'm afraid it'll be too late by then. Why don't we move our program forward? That way, we can seize the time to pull in more votes. Zixuan, you've always appeared as a cold and aloof goddess. Now that you've broken through your image and performed a sexy dance, those men will definitely go crazy. Since Ning Shi can catch female fans, let's catch male fans. Han Zixuan pondered for a long time. Although she still felt uncomfortable, she could only do this. Let's do as you say. Zheng Anru had a good plan, but she didn't expect that tonight. While Ning Shi was flirting with the female fans, the male fans who had been turned gay were also crying. Chapter 1925. The program had a time limit. Each guest performance was only 10 to 15 minutes. Because Ning Shi's and Jiang Mai's programs were combined, they got half an hour of time. They streamlined the musical and adapted it to be more popular. With the perfect cooperation of the three, the half-hour show, which was originally long for the audience, was full of explosive points. Until the end, everyone still wanted more. After the three left the stage, everyone's eyes were still on them, especially Ning Shi. Thank you very much for the wonderful performance that the three of you have brought to us. The audience in front of the TV and the live broadcast, please don't leave. There are more exciting performances waiting for everyone. I'll leave you in suspense first. I wonder if anyone can guess who the next one will be? Although the host tried his best to create a sense of mystery, it was not as attractive to the fans as Ning Shi, who had already taken a seat in the VIP seats. The audience in the stands watched Ning Shi walk down the stage and then sit down in the VIP seats, whispering to Qin Shuang and Jiao Mai next to him. Obviously, he didn't do anything, but his every frown, smile, and word made people completely unable to move their eyes away. When the cameraman's lens occasionally swept to Ning Shi's corner, the audience and the fans in front of the live broadcast all screamed excitedly, especially the fans in the live broadcast room. Great cameraman, please look at Brother Shi. Great cameraman, I want to look at my husband. Great cameraman, please do your best. At the same time, the lights on the stage dimmed, and only one beam hit the center of the stage. After a while, The dynamic music resounded throughout the banquet hall, filling everyone's eardrums. Dancers appeared one after another from behind the scenes, and the hot dance swept away the atmosphere in an instant. Under the stage, Ningxi sat there quietly with a completely different attitude from the stage. Because of the performance just now, his forehead and collarbone were slightly sweaty at the moment. What should we do? Because there were too many people who made suggestions, the cameraman looked at the reaction of the audience and fans and was inevitably in a dilemma. At this time, the director on the side decisively ordered, "Add more shots to Ningxi. But the next program is Han Zixuan's. Do you need me to teach you such a small thing? Don't be too obvious. Can't you see the opportunity? Don't you know how to change the angle?" The person on the stage said, as if it was a common occurrence. When the cameraman heard the words from the walkie-talkie, they immediately understood. After the dancers on the stage blew up the stage for a short while, suddenly, with a dong sound, a square hole opened in the center of the stage where the light was shining, and a person jumped out from it. And the person who jumped from the ground to the stage was Han Zixuan. She was dressed in a black, tight-fitting leather suit, revealing her slender waist and fair, slender legs. She had a head of jet-black wavy hair. She was a complete change from her usual noble goddess appearance. She was sexy and charming. This brand-new look and hot dance immediately attracted the attention of the audience and fans. Han Zixuan's votes also increased at an instant. On the ranking list, Ningxi and Han Zixuan were chasing each other. Below the stage, Zheng Anru was so nervous that her heart was about to jump out of her chest. At this moment, when she saw that everyone's reaction was within her expectations, she revealed a relieved expression. She knew that this move would definitely work. At this time, the number one cameraman suddenly captured something. Because he was the closest to Ningxi, he immediately pointed the camera lens of the number one cameraman at Ningxi. The camera on the big screen suddenly switched to the corner where Ningxi and Jiangmai were. Because Ningxi was wearing a heavy costume, she felt a little stuffy, so she stretched out her hand and unbuttoned the first button on her collar unhurriedly while watching the program on the stage. So handsome, so handsome, so handsome. My heart is going to burst. Hormones are bursting. Honey, you are so handsome. Keep unbuttoning. Don't stop. Chapter 1926. In an instant, almost all the fans and audience turned their eyes back to Ningxi, and Ningxi's votes soared like a rocket. As for the ratings, there was no need to mention it. Looking at the soaring ratings, the director was so excited that his heart almost stopped. He didn't blame the number one cameraman who changed the close-up of Ningxi halfway. Instead, he was full of appreciation and changed his words on the spot. Not bad, not bad. Ahem. Actually, it's obviously okay. The cameraman didn't dare to be too obvious. Now that they got the director's approval, they immediately took more shots. When the number 10 cameraman was aiming at Han Zixuan, she was also in the frame. Under the stage, Jiangmai, who was sitting next to Ningxi, was dumbfounded when he saw the sudden rise in the number of votes that Han Zixuan couldn't catch up with. Fuck! What the hell? Didn't you just unbutton one of the buttons? Is it worth it? Qin Xiaoshuang, do you think these fans are stupid? Qin Shuang didn't give Jiangmai any response. Jiangmai turned his head and found that the little girl had already looked past him and was staring at Ningxi. He held his heart and looked as if he was going to faint. Jiangmai, because he was sitting next to Ningxi, and the two of them had clearly appeared in the camera together, but he had been completely ignored. This had never happened since he debuted. Didn't all the male stars become foils in front of him as soon as he appeared? How could he be defeated by a woman? So, Jiangmai couldn't bear it anymore. You just unbuttoned my shirt. Who doesn't know how to do that? Then he unbuttoned 3 buttons in a row. My. Jiangmai's fans finally noticed their idol, and they began to scream one after another. After making such a big sacrifice, Jiangmai finally got a little attention. Instead of being happy, he felt sad and stared sourly at someone who was sitting lazily on the seat. She noticed his gaze and glanced at the golden-haired guy beside her. Suddenly, she showed a thoughtful expression. Jiang Mai's hair stood on end. What are you worried about? She propped her head up and looked at him. She smiled and said faintly, I'm suddenly thinking, what would you look like if you cross-dress? Fuck, you actually fantasized about me wearing women's clothing. It was simply insane. Jiang Mai's hair stood on end. He covered his chest like a little wife. Xiaoxi, you pervert. Although the fans and audience didn't know the content of the conversation between Shi and Jiang Mai, the lively and loving way they interacted with each other, and Jiang Mai's expression of being bullied to the point that he was on the verge of breaking down, were simply the perfect portrayal of a black-bellied attacker in its tsundere. Invisibly, the Fujoshi fans, who were the most powerful bodyguards, were all fired up. Ah, how loving. My Muyi is so cute when he gets angry. What a clear distinction between attack and defense. Brother Shi, attack my face. Muyi will definitely accept it. I really want to know what they're talking about. I know. I fucking recorded it and looked at the lips several times. Brother, she said he wants to see what Muyi looks like in women's clothes. Oh. Brother, she is so awesome. I also want to know what my husband looks like in women's clothes. Below the stage, Jiang Mai was watching the live broadcast on his mobile phone. His face was almost as black as the bottom of a pot. Fuck, who the hell is the one who is on the defense? I'm on the offense. Chapter 1927. Although the canvassing for votes had been very intense in the past few days, there were still some people who preferred to keep their votes until the end, and a large number of passers-by simply didn't bother to vote. But now, when their emotions were completely aroused, these votes were squeezed out in an instant. Not to mention the powerful force of the fans who were spontaneously canvassing for votes. Xing Hui had been trying to find a way, but he couldn't keep up with the speed of Shi's votes on the stage. Han Zixuan danced until she was drenched in sweat, performing all kinds of sexy and explosive movements. Glancing out of the corner of her eye, she found that her votes had been completely crushed by Shi, and the audience didn't seem to be cheering and screaming for her. At this moment, she suddenly realized something was wrong. When she turned around because of a dance movement, she was shocked to see that the big screen behind her was actually a close-up of Shi, not her. Han Zixuan's face turned pale in an instant, and her feet moved in a mess. Seeing this, Zheng Anru's face also changed in anxiety. Damn it, what are those people doing backstage? This is Zixuan's show. Where are the cameras? Then, what was even more tragic was that, even though Han Zixuan had made such a serious mistake, no one noticed. Both were flirting, but Han Zixuan's way and Shi's way, in contrast, were clearly superior. The former was too deliberate and sculpted, which made people feel that it was boring, while Shi's "actually I didn't want to flirt with you at all" flirted with both men and women unknowingly, making everyone crazy. Even a subtle movement or a look could make people's hearts tremble. Finally, on the stage, Han Zixuan's show ended, and on the big screen on the left, Shi's votes had actually exceeded Han Zixuan's by more than 2 times, and she was far ahead on both lists. This performance was obviously Han Zixuan's trump card to canvass votes, and the order was deliberately adjusted from the finale to the beginning, but it completely sent her to hell. Looking at the absolutely unsurpassable votes, Zheng Anru stood up abruptly, then fell back down in a daze, her face full of disbelief. This is impossible. How is this possible? Amazing. Brother Shi, your votes have overtaken her, and by a lot, and it's still increasing. Qin Xiaoshuang had been paying close attention to Shi's votes and was very excited at this moment. This was simply a miracle. The person in front of him always had a way to accomplish the impossible. As long as he was by her side, he would feel at ease. Jiang Mai glanced at Qin Shuang's eyes. Holding his chin, the corner of his mouth slightly twitched. Well, you hooked up with another one, you scourge. Although he was very jealous, seeing that Shi finally occupied the list with him, Jiang was quite proud. TSK, TSK, TSK. This list is so cool. Popular male star number 1. Jiang Mai National Prince Charming number 1. Jiang Mai the male star I want to sleep with most. Jiang Mai Popular female star number 1. Ningxi National Goddess number 1. Ningxi The 5 most influential lists were all occupied by Xianxia Entertainment. As for Liu Tingxiao, who was as stable as Mount Tai on the National Husband number 1, he was definitely one of them. However, soon, Jiang Mai couldn't show off anymore. With the end of Han Zixuan's program and the start of others' programs, Ningxi's votes also rose quietly on some other lists that were originally impossible. Chapter 1928. However, the screen on the left only showed the top 10 names. Hence, no one noticed it for the time being. The fans and passers-by were also not aware of it. Meanwhile, backstage, Zheng Anru was furious. Damn it, Zhao Wenliang, that idiot. Why didn't he have a backup plan? They can only watch as Ningxi's votes skyrocket, and they can't do anything about it. Han Zixuan could no longer maintain her composure. She threw the bottle of mineral water that her assistant passed to her. The assistant's head was red from the blow. She said carefully, "They must have rigged the votes. How else could it have risen so quickly?" Although they knew that it was impossible for Golden Era to do that, it was still easier to accept than Han Zixuan's lack of skills. "Call the company." Han Zixuan cursed. Zheng Anru was panicking backstage. She immediately dialed the PR department's number and roared, "Zhao Wenliang, think of something right now. I don't care what you do. Don't forget that CEO Wang said that Zixuan must be the first in the female leaderboard. It can only be Zixuan. Think about the consequences if you make a mistake this time." Zhao Wenliang, on the other end of the phone, was also extremely busy. He had just been scolded by Wang Haojuan and Ning Xiuhua when Zheng Anru called him again. He was furious. "Zheng Anru, do you think I'm a god? Ningxi is sitting on the VIP seat and doing nothing, but the votes keep skyrocketing. What the hell can I do?" Just as Zheng Anru and Zhao Wenliang were arguing on the phone, Zheng Anru noticed that Ningxi's votes had slowed down on the big screen. It was even showing signs of stopping. Zheng Anru was overjoyed. "It's stopping. I knew it. It's finally rising. Zhao Wenliang, hurry up and take action." Zhao Wenliang had naturally noticed it as well. He said angrily, "Action my ass. You think you can overtake her just because you want to? Take a look at the difference in the votes. Even if it stops, there's no way we can overtake her. We took 6 whole days to get those votes. How can we get so many votes in such a short time? Instead of keeping an eye on me, I might as well let Zixuan find a way to let her fans vote for her." Zheng Anru glanced at Han Zixuan with a gloomy expression. How could she come up with a solution in such a short time? Even that explosive show, just now, was useless. Could it be that they had a fight for another program from the organizers? Just as Zheng Anru and Zhao Wenliang were haggling and arguing, the little assistant stared at the ranking list on the big screen, not far away. She suddenly covered her mouth and exclaimed, "Oh my God, what's going on? What are you yelling for?" Zheng Anru asked impatiently. The assistant pointed at the list and said excitedly, "Sister Anru, look at the list of male stars. Why did Ningxi's name suddenly appear on the male celebrity list? Is there something wrong with the system?" Zheng Anru had no time to care about Zhao Wenliang at the other end of the phone. She hurriedly checked her phone, only to find that Ningxi's name was really on the men's list. Popular male, star number 10, Ningxi. Nation's Prince Charming number 9, Ningxi. The male star I want to sleep with most, Ningxi. What the hell? Was he crazy? How could Ningxi appear on the men's list? Such a blatant shady deal. This is a shady deal. Zheng Anru was dumbfounded. Wang Haojuan looked at the wily old fox in front of him. How could he not know what he was thinking? Seeing that there was not much time left, he could only grit his teeth, stretch out his hand, and show a number. Then he said, "Remove all of Ningxi's names from the list. After this is done, I will give you this amount." When Xiao Zhan saw the number that Wang Haojuan pointed out, his eyes immediately lit up. Then his expression changed. However, just as he was hesitating, he inadvertently glanced at the real-time ranking on the big screen through the narrow door gap. He would not have known if he had not seen it, but when he saw it, he was shocked. In a short time that he was talking to Wang Haojuan, Ningxi's ranking on the male celebrity list had already reached the top 5. The most wanted to sleep with male celebrity in the entertainment circle list had even reached the top 3, and the rankings were still rising. Chapter 1930. This time, everyone knew that Starlight Entertainment had given all their resources to Han Zixuan. Hence, the votes on the male leaderboard were far less than the female leaderboard. Hence, it was much easier for them to overtake the female leaderboard. However, Ningxi continued to overtake the male leaderboard after overtaking the female leaderboard. Everyone was shocked. The change in the leaderboard was naturally seen by everyone. The fans in the live stream and the audience were all pumped up. When they saw that the female leaderboard had topped the male leaderboard, they followed suit and began to smash the male leaderboard. This caused the votes to increase faster and faster. After seeing the leaderboard, Xiao Zhan was unsure. After all, the rules were there, and she did not break any rules. If they listened to Wang Haojuan and forcefully smeared Ningxi's reputation, Starlight would definitely be drowned by everyone's spittle. Seeing this, Wang Haojuan gestured another number and raised the price again. Qin Guan's expression clearly froze, and a greedy light shone in his eyes. He could not help but think that such a huge sum of money would be enough for the rest of his life, even if he lost his position as the executive producer. Just when Qin Guan was in a dilemma, he suddenly received a call on his phone. CEO Wang, I have an important call. Please wait for a moment." Qin Guan's expression changed when he saw the caller ID. He told Wang Haojuan to wait for a moment and quickly hid in a corner. Wang Haojuan looked at Qin Guan's expression and had an inexplicable bad feeling. Who would be calling at this time? At that moment, Qin Guan hid in a corner and answered the call even though the person on the other end could not see him. "Ahem, that. Second young master, I'm really flattered that you have time to call me today. I'm really flattered." As soon as he finished speaking, a lazy voice came from the other end of the phone. The person on the other end went straight to the point. "No matter how much Wang Haojuan gives you, I'll pay you 10 times. Fuck, 10 times. Qin Guan was almost crushed to death by the number. However, how could he dare to accept it? The person who called him was Lu Jingli himself. Damn it, didn't Lu Jingli return to the company a long time ago? He did not even ask about what happened to Golden Age Entertainment. How could it be? Recently, he heard that there was a big change in the management of Golden Age. Could it be that Lu Group was taking over Golden Age again? Qin Guan immediately made a decision. "Ahem, second young master, I don't understand what you're talking about. CEO, Wang didn't even look for me. Even if he did, we'll definitely do everything according to the rules. Don't worry." Qin Guan changed his words without hesitation. What a joke. Between Starlight and Lu Enterprises, did he even need to choose? On the other end of the phone, Lu Jingli chuckled. Producer Qin is indeed a smart man. Second young Qin, you're too much. After hanging up, Qin Guan wiped his sweat as if he had just survived a disaster. Then, he immediately went back and flatly rejected Wang Haojuan. "CEO Wang, it's really not that I don't want to help you this time. You also saw the current situation. Ningxi is completely in line with everyone's expectations. What about breaking the rules and manipulating votes? It's completely untenable. If you and I, Emperor. So, President Wang, forgive me for not being able to help you this time. Let's be fair and follow the rules. If Zixuan also has a way to get on the male star ranking, then I will definitely treat everyone equally without a second word." Chapter 1931. After Qin Guan said this, he didn't even wait for Wang Haojuan's reply. He just said that he was busy and left in a hurry. Producer Qin. Wait, damn it. Wang Haojuan did not expect. Qin Guan, who was obviously wavering, suddenly changed his attitude after a phone call. He said firmly that everything would be done according to the rules. Wang Haojuan kicked the wall in anger. Damn it, what was going on? Golden Era was already in such a state. What else could possibly change Qin Guan's mind? Or did the higher-ups of Starlight foresee something and specifically warn Qin Guan? In all fairness, he knew that the matter this time was indeed too thorny. Wang Haojuan glanced at the leaderboard behind him with a dark expression. The next second, his pupil shrank. Ningxi was already in the top 3 of the leaderboard for male stars. Almost all the fans in the livestream channel were spontaneously canvassing for votes for Ningxi. Not to mention the huge group of fans and passers-by that they could not see. Now that the banquet was coming to an end, the ratings were still high. That showed how much attention they were getting. Who would have thought that in a short span of less than 4 hours, such a huge change would occur? All of his emergency measures were already too late. Below the stage, Jiang Mai looked at Ning. She's crazily soaring ranking on the leaderboard. She was getting closer and closer to his number 1 position. He was completely dumbfounded. His worldview had been turned upside down. At this moment, he wanted to grab someone's shoulders and shake them violently. Fuck. Ning Xiaoxi, I fucking asked you to join me in the leaderboard, not to kill indiscriminately. To be honest, Ningxi did not expect this to happen. She had forgotten that some of the leaderboards in Entertainment Light did not differentiate between men and women. She did not expect the fans to put her on the leaderboard. So this time, Jiang Mai had wronged her. As they spoke, the real-time leaderboard was number 3 popular male star, Ningxi. Number 3 popular male star, Ningxi. Number 1 popular male star in the entertainment circle, Ningxi. Jiang Mai looked at the most sleepy male star leaderboard that had been overtaken and was instantly enraged. Fuck, this doesn't make sense. Ever since the leaderboard was created, my most sleepy male star has always been the champion. This time, I can't even keep my chastity and was overtaken by a woman. Although the first 2 were more valuable, the third one was related to a man's dignity. Ningxi looked at the sleepmost list. She was the first to jump to the first place. She raised her eyebrows slightly and could only comfort him. Well, at least you don't have to post anymore. I'd rather take a nude photo, okay? Even if I'm naked, I'm fine with it. Jiang Mai cried. In the end, Jiang Mai directly logged into his main account under extreme resentment and anger. He entered the live video website and began to flood the screen. Jiang Mai had special privileges. As soon as they entered, everyone received a beautiful special effect notification. Jiang Mai, why don't you want to sleep with me the most? Why? Is there any love left? Jiang Mai asked. Are you tired of sleeping? Jiang Mai yelled. You shameless, heartless, and unreasonable little goblins. When the sharp-eyed fans saw Jiang Mai in person, they couldn't stop laughing. Who are you and Brother Shi? It doesn't matter who is first. How am I? You'd better be suppressed this time. There's no other way. It's too obvious. My, look at the one at the bottom. Chapter 1932. What was even more amazing was that there were even fans who were watching the commotion and didn't mind the matter getting out of hand. I'm begging you to wear women's clothes. As long as you wear women's clothes, we promise you'll be on the women's list. Ao agreed. Jiang Mai's face was as black as the bottom of a pot. Fuck your bottom. Fuck your cross-dressing. Who wants to wear women's clothes? You perverts. What's the use of him on the women's list? His reputation would be ruined. He would rather die than wear it. Jiang Mai went to the live broadcast room. When he came out, he was even more desperate to find Ning. She had surpassed the second place on the national husband list. Ningxi's ranking was just below Lu Tingxiao's. She naturally saw her own ranking. After looking at it for a long time, she seemed to have thought of something, and a glimmer of light flashed across her eyes. Jiang Mai suddenly had a bad feeling when he saw Ning Shi's strange look. What do you want to do? Ning Shi looked at Jiang Mai and sighed. I'm sorry. What do you mean by sorry? What do you want to do? Jiang Mai was about to collapse. Sorry for her sweetheart, for the sake of being on the top with his sweetheart's name. She was going to value her lover more than her friends. She was going to make a big move. At the same time, all the performances on the stage had ended. It was time to canvass for votes. The host couldn't wait to invite all the guests to the stage. Now, there was only one last fight left. The artists came forward one by one, according to the names they drew. Thank you for voting for me. Although my ranking has not improved, I'm very satisfied. Thank you for your support. Thank you to every fan who likes me. Thank you. I'll work harder next year. As a newcomer, I'm really excited that so many people like me. I hope you can continue to vote for me. I won't let you down. One by one, they canvassed for votes. Finally, it was Han Zixuan's turn. Han Zixuan must have gone backstage to discuss the last resort. They didn't know what they would do this time. Thinking of this, Su Tao, Jiang Mai, and the others held their breath. At this moment, Han Zixuan's expression was no longer as out of control and flustered as before. She changed back in her goddess costume and stood calmly in front of the stage. She didn't directly ask for votes like the others. Instead, she calmly said, taking advantage of today's occasion, I want to share a piece of good news with everyone. After Under the Heavens, I just received an invitation from the famous Hollywood producer, Juz, to participate in the production of their new film. This also means that my career will embark on a new journey. Of course, everything I have now is inseparable from everyone's support. Thank you all very much. Without all of you, Han Zixuan, wouldn't be here today. The moment Han Zixuan's voice fell, all the fans were shocked by the name of Hollywood producer Juz. He was the #1 producer in Hollywood and had produced countless well-known classic masterpieces. He rarely used Chinese people, let alone personally inviting Han Zixuan. Han Zixuan actually received an invitation from Juz. No one in the entire entertainment industry could have such glory. Although Han Zixuan didn't directly ask for votes, her votes increased rapidly because of this extremely explosive news. After all, people still subconsciously worship the strong. Chapter 1933. At this moment, Han Zixuan and Zheng Anru heaved a sigh of relief and looked at the rapidly rising number of votes with satisfaction. Even if she couldn't get on the male list, she had to surpass Ning Shi on the female list. Even in the worst-case scenario, she had to get one of them. Soon, it was Jiang Mai's turn. Jiang Mai's declaration was very simple and straightforward. As long as you get the first place on the 3 lists, I'll agree to any of your requests. Damn it, I'm going all out. With a burst of screams, Jiang Mai's number of votes began to rise crazily. Even the number of people who wanted to sleep with the most began to surpass Ning Shi. I want kisses, hugs, and kisses. Can I have sex? There are so many of us. My husband will die of exhaustion. Seeing this, Jiang Mai didn't even care about being squeezed dry. He glanced at Ning Shi beside him proudly. Humph, you want to fight with me? I've eaten more salt than you've eaten. No matter what, I'll save his dignity first. Ning Shi's speech followed Jiang Mai's. For a moment, everyone held their breath and stared at the beautiful woman in the middle of the stage. At the same time, Han Zixuan and Starlight Entertainment were fighting desperately. Han Zixuan's votes were trying to overtake Ning Shi. Obviously, Starlight Entertainment was going to keep the first place on the list of popular female stars. The gap between Han Zixuan and Ning Shi was getting smaller and smaller. On the male list, the gap between the first, second, and third places was not big. The competition was very fierce. Next, let's welcome Brother Shi to start his speech. I wonder what he will say to our audience and fans. The hostess looked at Ning Shi at a close distance, her heart beating fast. Everyone was wondering what Ning Shi would do and what she would say. Han Zixuan had gone all out this time. She didn't expect that she would reveal such a shocking news at this time. At this moment, Ning Shi was still in that luxurious medieval British costume. But because it was too hot just now, 2 buttons had been undone, and the sweat that had stained his hair was slightly messy, which added a bit of casualness and laziness to him. At this moment, under everyone's nervous, expectant, and breathless gazes, Ningxi placed her fingers on her collar and buttoned up the 2 loose buttons one by one until the first button of her collar revealed only half of her fair neck. It was just an extremely small detail. His gaze was just a little deeper, but his entire temperament changed in an instant. It was as if he had turned from an evil phantom into a completely different person. He was like a king who had been abstinent in an ancient castle for thousands of years, waiting for his lover. Then he bowed slightly, gave a noble and elegant gentleman's bow, and said softly to everyone, "Thank you." After a strange 3 seconds of silence, deafening screams erupted at the scene. What's the difference between a person who can't sleep with Brother Shi and a salted fish? Hubby, I don't want kisses, hugs, kisses, or sex. I just want you to look at me in the crowd. Ah, isn't it just a ticket? Here you go. Here you go. All for you. My heart, my love, my soul, and my virginity are all yours. There was no emotional speech, no explosive news, just an action and a thank you. On the big screen, popular male star number 1, Ningxi. National male god number 1, Ningxi. Most wanted to sleep with male star number 1, Ningxi. Popular female star number 1, Ningxi. National goddess number 1, Ningxi. Chapter 1934. This is impossible. Below the stage, Zhang Anru stood up abruptly. Han Zixuan's face was even paler. Damn it. Why? Why was it that even after doing so much, she still couldn't compare to this outdated actress who only knew how to take advantage of the situation? At this moment, looking at the ranking on the big screen, Jiang Mai felt as if he had been fucked by a dog. Damn it. He didn't even hesitate to sell his body, but he still couldn't compare to this bastard who buttoned up a few buttons? Where was the justice? What kind of fucking species was he competing with? What Jiang Mai didn't expect was that there was something even more heart-wrenching to come. As time slowly approached midnight, the results of the 6th ranking came out. The national husband ranking for the whole of China was as follows. Number 1, Lu Tingxiao. Number 2, Ningxi. There were a total of 12 big and small rankings on Entertainment Light, and the number 1 in the top 6 rankings was Ningxi. 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 Lu Tingxiao. Jiang Mai looked at the 2 names that stood side by side. Seeing the couple occupying half of the rankings, he spat out a mouthful of blood on the spot. This was definitely the most miserable time he had ever been abused by the 2 of them. This dog food was toxic. At the same time, Dear Town, Lu Jingli and Lu Tingxiao were both sitting in front of the TV watching the live broadcast. Xiao Bao had to go to school, so he reluctantly went to bed. At this moment, Lu Tingxiao was staring at the screen with his head tilted, his expression focused. Lu Jingli was holding popcorn and a bunch of snacks in his hands, wailing with his fans from time to time. Oh no, he's gay. Sister-in-law is going to explode from the fall. My dear brother, if I didn't know your sexual orientation, I would really suspect that you're actually gay. Whoa, 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 whoa. I simply can't imagine what will happen when our precious little treasure gathers the genes of the 2 of you together. Lu Jingli chattered nonstop. He was so worried that his heart was broken. Finally, after the 10-second countdown, it was time for the ranking to be officially released. Lu Jingli held his breath and stared at the chips in his hand. When he saw the final result, his face stiffened, and he immediately threw away the chips in his hand, hugging his head and crying. I can't live like this anymore. Sister-in-law was too cruel. She must have done it on purpose. Why did he get humiliated while watching an award ceremony? Do they even have any humanity left? As for Lu Tingxiao, he looked at the name on the big screen on the television. He looked at the girl bowing and thanking him on the stage. His expression was as gentle as water. His girl was always able to surprise and move him. In the face of this result, Ningxi's fans were probably the most excited. The live stream was full of cheers, and many passers-by were infected by such an atmosphere. Ah! Hubby is mighty and domineering. Brother, she will rule the pugilistic world for 10,000 years and have a harem of 30 million. I hope to see my king rule the world in my lifetime. Below the stage, Qingguan looked at the shocking rankings results and the reactions of the live audience and fans. He silently wiped away his sweat and could not help but feel extremely lucky. Fortunately, he was not blinded by Wang Haojuan's money. His career had been stagnant for a long time, and after this issue, his reputation would definitely rise. In the future, would he still have to worry about not having the opportunity to earn big money? He was the one who came up with the idea of not distinguishing the male and female shortlists. Chapter 1935. Oh my God, this result is so shocking. We have never seen such an amazing result since the Entertainment Honor Roll was held. On the stage, the host kept talking excitedly. In the warm atmosphere, the winners went on the stage in turn to receive their awards. The trophy for the male rankings was given first. Ningxi alone got 3. Yes, the 3 that Jiang Mai swore he would kill. Below the stage, Jiang Mai, who didn't even get a single ranking, began to doubt his life. Fuck, I'm quitting the entertainment circle. I can't survive in this circle. Lei Ming coughed and comforted him. Ahem. Actually, second place is not bad. Not bad. How is it good to be beaten by that bastard? Look at what these little bastards are saying in the live broadcast room. Am I worthy? How am I worthy? Jiang Mai roared. As for Su Tao, he was grinning from ear to ear, looking like a die-hard fan. Oh hee hee, my queen is simply too awesome. I didn't expect that my luck would finally turn for the better. This golden thigh was too big. Ningxi, congratulations on defeating all our handsome guys and sweeping the top 3 rankings. You even got the second place as the nation's husband. How do you feel now that you are on the same list as God Lu? On the stage, the host asked with great interest. Although Lu Tingxiao couldn't receive such a small ranking, the host wouldn't let go of this gimmick, so he specifically mentioned it. Ningxi raised her eyebrows. Well, on the same list as Lu Tingxiao, it was hard to describe how she felt. Subtle. She felt like she was slapped in the face. After all, not long ago, she complained to Lu Tingxiao that she had too many rivals in love. She thought about her words and replied, "It's my honor to be on the same list as God Lu." What she didn't say was, "Our names will always be on the same list as long as I'm alive." Below the stage, although Su Tao and Lei Ming didn't know about the relationship between Ningxi and Lu Tingxiao, Liang Feixing and Jiang Mai were full of dog food. Soon, it was time for the female rankings to give out the awards. At this time, Su Tao and the others noticed the spam in the live broadcast and found some discordant voices. What the hell was Entertainment Light doing? He actually let a woman take the male ranking. This is simply reckless. Putting aside the male leaderboard, the female leaderboard is also completely unfair. No matter what, the most popular female star and national goddess should be Zixuan, okay? That's right. Zixuan was the real goddess. Were these people blind? What's so good about Ningxi, who is neither a man nor a woman? Needless to say, it was obvious that Starlight was behind this. Jiang Mai, who had been complaining about Ningxi a moment ago, immediately began to protect her again when he saw these nasty comments. Humph, a group of stupid humans. He didn't look worried at all. He was waiting for these people to be slapped in the face. Now, the Best Newcomer Award, Most Outstanding Artist Award, have all been given out. At this moment, we are going to present the trophy to our popular female star and national goddess. Because both awards were won by our movie queen Ningxi, we decided to award them at once. Next, let's welcome Ningxi to the stage. Accompanied by the host's enthusiastic voice, a person slowly walked out from the backstage. A white figure slowly walked into everyone's line of sight from the hazy lights backstage until that person was completely standing under the magnesium lights. The audience fell silent. At this moment, The indolent and noble king had already changed out of the men's clothes and returned to his original appearance. Chapter 1936. At this moment, Ningxi was not wearing the sack, but one of Zhe Ling's most treasures, Goddess Luo. After all, Jiamai was a straight man. When he saw Ningxi in women's clothes, his face changed immediately. His ears turned slightly red and his eyes became hot. However, he didn't show it on his face. He just held his chin and murmured, "Humph. Boring. No suspense. It's like a full-level orange weapon slaughtering the novice village." Strength was always the best way to shut people up. As soon as Ningxi showed up, all the discordant voices disappeared. The sporadic vulgarities were all drowned by the crowd and scolded by Ningxi's fans. The goddess is so beautiful. Mom, what should I do? I don't know whether I like men or women anymore. Can you tell me which shop the goddess is wearing? I've never seen it before. It's much better than Han Zishuan's, okay? Han Zishuan's dress is beautiful, but it's like a nouveau riche. I know. It's Zhe Ling. The goddess is Zhe Ling's loyal fan. Don't you know? When the goddess attended the anniversary celebration of Xianxia Entertainment, she wore Zhe Ling's most treasured dress, All Beings. When she attended the Golden Palm Awards, she wore Zhe Ling's famous work, Nirvana. Now she's wearing the second most treasured dress, Goddess Luo. It was designed by Zhe Ling's chief designer in Song Jin, a master of traditional Chinese painting. There's more. The pure white Cheongsam, that brother she wore when he made his comeback, was from Zhe Ling's Return to Simplicity collection that was released not long ago. I've never seen the gown that he wore on the red carpet. I'm guessing that it's a new collection that hasn't been released yet. I was wondering. It's Zhe Ling. It was very popular back then. Many new styles have been released recently, and they're all very beautiful. Some die-hard fans explained in detail all the styles of Zhe Ling gowns that she had worn since her debut. For a while, Zhe Ling reappeared in the eyes of the public. It was completely a free publicity and marketing, and the effect was excellent. So far, tonight's Starry Night was finally over, and Xing Hui had completely lost any chance to turn the situation around. Late at night, in the hospital, Ning Xiuluo had already received the notice from the company. She sat on the sofa with an annoyed look on her face. "You're useless." After spending so much money and resources, they still couldn't beat Ning Shi, who was on the verge of bankruptcy. However, she no longer had the energy to deal with the problem of Starlight. She had more important things to do. Ning Xiuluo looked at the phone impatiently, waiting for the doctor's diagnosis. A moment later, a middle-aged female doctor in her 40s or 50s wearing a white coat finally walked in from outside. The female doctor looked at Ning Xiuluo, and her expression did not look too good. "Madam Su, your examination results are out." Ning Xiuluo's face darkened when she saw the doctor's expression. "Still not pregnant?" The female doctor nodded awkwardly. "Yes," he quickly comforted her. "Mrs. Su, don't worry. You're still young. You've only been married to your husband for more than a year. There will be many opportunities to have children in the future. There's no rush." Ning Xiuluo sneered in her heart. No hurry. If she didn't hurry, she would lose her position as Mrs. Su. Chapter 1937. The night of Starlight had come to an end. This time, Golden Era had won the battle beautifully. Of course, some people obviously didn't think so. In the makeup room backstage, "You value your lover over your friend. Inhumane. Ning Xiaoxi, our friendship has come to an end." Jiangmai was enraged. She must have done it on purpose. She sold him out just for the sake of showing off her love. She sat in front of the dressing table and took off her earrings. She glanced at Jiangmai from the corner of her eye in the mirror and said softly, "I told you that she would let you have her. You were the one who didn't want it." After saying that, she sized up a certain golden retriever meaningfully. Jiangmai's facial features were very delicate and perfect. If he really put on makeup and dressed up as a girl, Tiska, Jiang Mai's hair stood on end when Ningxi looked at him so blatantly. Dress up as a girl, my ass. Ning Xiaoxi, I'll kill you if you dare to do anything to me again. Ningxi sighed. Her expression was obviously regretful. At this moment, someone knocked on the door. Come in, Ningxi said as she subconsciously looked in the direction of the door. Then, when she saw who it was, she was a little surprised. The man was dressed in a black suit and held a bouquet of very special flowers in his hand. The flowers were pinkish-white and looked like the lock of the medieval European nobles. It seemed to be a special flower that only the Geneva Botanical Garden of Country would grow. Congratulations. Li Mayan handed the bouquet over like a gentleman. Ningxi quickly stood up and took the flowers. Mr. Li, thank you. I happen to have an appointment with the ambassador of country at a nearby clubhouse. I accidentally saw the live broadcast and learned that you had an important event tonight. I took the liberty to come. I hope I didn't disturb you. Li Mayan briefly explained his purpose of coming. Ningxi smiled. Of course not. You're too kind. I like the flowers very much. Thank you. The fragrance of the flowers was very special. It was a little similar to acacia and pear, like the softness of early summer in Jiangnan. This is the star magnolia from Country R. I only found out about it at the last minute, so I came here directly with the ambassador of Country R, Li Mayan said. Ningxi naturally knew that Li Mayan was joking. She was a little surprised that Li Mayan could make jokes. However, it was normal for someone in his position to know all kinds of things. At this time, when Jiang Mai saw this strange man who suddenly appeared, he immediately changed from a golden retriever to a lion. His eyes were full of vigilance. By the way, this is a senior in my company, Jiang Mai, Ningxi introduced. Li Mayan. Li Mayan extended his hand, introduced himself, and said, I've long heard of your name, Mr. Jiang. Mr. Jiang is very famous in China, and my cousin is also his fan. He sure knows how to talk. Jiang Mai stretched out his hand perfunctorily and shook her hand. You're welcome. Li Mayan didn't stay for long. After exchanging a few pleasantries, he left. As soon as he left, Jiang Mai immediately rushed to Ningxi and asked, Who is he? My aunt's close friend's son is a diplomat. What's wrong? Ningxi answered casually. Jiang Mai murmured, Nothing. I just feel weird. Is he interested in you? I'm not RMB. He has seen all kinds of beautiful women in the world. How can he be so ignorant? Ningxi was happily and sweetly texting Lu Tingxiao. Hearing this, she said without looking up, Chapter 1938. Jiang Mai still felt that something was wrong. This person spoke flawlessly, and the way he looked at Ning, she was very normal. But because it was so normal, he felt that something was amiss. Jiang Mai was about to ask further when he saw the text that Ningxi had sent to Lu Tingxiao. Sweetheart, our names will always be together as long as we live. Damn it. Forget it. What was he worrying about? Why was he worrying about this when he was being abused like a dog? This bastard only had eyes for her sweetheart now. Even if other species' eyes were glued to her, she probably wouldn't know. Dear Town. Lu Tingxiao looked at the text on his phone, his eyes full of tenderness. After a while, he got up and went upstairs. When Lu Tingxiao went downstairs again, Lu Jingli's orange juice slanted and spilled all over his pants. His eyes almost popped out. Ow! So handsome! So handsome! His brother was wearing the suit that she had bought for him. It was unique and bright. Ningxi's aesthetic taste had always been flashy. Wearing it on his brother, it made him look like a completely different person. Damn, brother, were you going dressed like this at night? Lu Jingli asked excitedly. Lu Tingxiao tidied up his sleeves and said, Take care of Xiao Bao. I'll be back tomorrow morning. Lu Jingli immediately burst into tears and bit his finger. Are you going on a date with sister-in-law? Sob, sob, sob. Yeah. Lu Tingxiao admitted directly. Lu Jingli. The miserable life he had expected had really begun. Lu Jingli held his wounded heart. Where are you going? How long will you be gone? When will you come back? Will you still love me when you come back? Lu Tingxiao glanced at his brother out of the corner of his eye. There are sweet and sour spare ribs in the fridge. His spare ribs. His wife-protecting brother's cooking skills were getting better and better, almost surpassing his sister-in-law's. Ow! His brother still loved him. The little koi, who had been comforted by the sweet and sour spare ribs, immediately changed its tune. Ow! Got it. I'll take care of the child at home. Go. Have fun. It's okay if you come back later. And he felt that with his brother's ability, he definitely wouldn't come back tomorrow morning. He was too selfless. Where else could one find such a younger brother? Backstage of the banquet, Xianxia changed into a lovely pink dress and came out. Nephew, you can go by yourself. Aunt, I have an appointment tonight. Xianxia's eyes were filled with jealousy. He snorted and said, Who wants to be with you? I have a date too. Oh, then have fun. Bye-bye. Looking at the receding figure, the angry expression on Xianxia's face receded like the tide. He lowered his head like a lonely large dog. I'm so handsome. Couldn't he see it at all? There was no fairness in love. Roar. Sweetheart, you are so handsome. The moment Xianxia saw Lu Tingxiao in the driver's seat, she threw herself at him. The man kissed the girl's forehead gently. His eyes were filled with warmth. It might be a little far. You can sleep on the way. I'll wake you up when we arrive. Xianxia looked expectant. Where are you taking me? Lu Tingxiao didn't answer. He coughed softly and looked a little unnatural. It was rare to see such an expression on Lu Tingxiao's face. Xianxia rolled her eyes and became even more curious. Chapter 1939. Well, what would the devil's surprise be? Xianxia had wanted to stay with Lu Tingxiao, but because she had been busy all night, she finally fell asleep. When she woke up, the car had already stopped. Oh, have we arrived? Xianxia rubbed her eyes. Just as she was about to open her eyes, a pair of warm hands covered her eyes. Close your eyes first. Xianxia immediately became sober. She nodded obediently, her heart beating faster. The car door opened. Her waist was protected by a hand, and she was carefully led forward step by step. The soles of her feet felt soft. It should be mud. The air was filled with the fragrance of plants. The night breeze was cool, and she could hear the rustling sound. It sounded familiar. Although her eyes were closed, and there was only darkness in front of her, because of the familiar aura and warmth beside her, she trusted him wholeheartedly and sensed everything around her. After walking for a long time, the feeling under her feet changed from mud to wooden planks. There was nothing under her feet. It should be a wooden bridge. You can open your eyes now. She heard the man's deep voice. Xianxia stopped and slowly opened her eyes. Then, her dark pupils suddenly dilated. What he saw was actually a large and lush bamboo forest. The rustling sound, just now, was the sound of the wind blowing through the bamboo forest. There were fireflies floating around in the bamboo forest. It was like a dream. The river under her feet reflected thousands of stars, and they were leaning against each other. In the depths of the bamboo forest, there was a simple and unadorned courtyard. At the moment, it was lit with a warm light. What shocked her even more was, this was the bamboo forest in the spring breeze town of Sea City. That night, she was drugged. When they were chatting, she mentioned the bamboo forest. She said that if she could have sex with the person she loved here, it would be a romantic bamboo forest. There were no buildings here. That small courtyard definitely didn't exist before. Even the fireflies in the bamboo forest used to be there, but there were very few of them. Since when did he start preparing? Xianxia couldn't describe her feelings at the moment. This man, who was always serious, old-fashioned, and boring, was doing things that he was completely not good at for her sake. Do you like it? The man's voice was obviously nervous. The moment his voice fell, a pair of lips that were as soft as the petals of early spring covered his slightly cold and thin lips. Lu Tingxiao's back suddenly stiffened. He tightened his grip on the girl's waist and kissed her deeply. When did you start preparing? Xianxia asked. I don't remember. When you were asleep, Lu Tingxiao replied. Xianxia's heart was filled with sweetness and sourness. Thank you, I like it very much, Lu Tingxiao coughed lightly. I was going to do it here, Although Lu Tingxiao didn't finish, Ningxi immediately understood. How could her sweetheart be willing to mistreat her? She was probably preparing to do it here for the first time after their wedding, but because she had subdued and pounced on her in the office, her plan was ruined. Ning, she chuckled. As long as I'm with you, it doesn't matter. We still have a lifetime ahead of us. We can still try many, many places in the future. The man pulled the girl into his arms. Ning, she raised her head and blinked her eyes. Her eyes were filled with little stars. Sweetheart, are we going to try here today? Chapter 1940. The man's voice was a little tense as he said in a low voice, "Next time, it's too late today. Have a good rest." Ningxi didn't know what to say. Did he really bring her here in the middle of the night just to give her a surprise? Ningxi rolled her eyes, took Lu Tingxiao's hand, and walked towards the small courtyard in the bamboo forest. "Oh, okay. Rest. Let's rest together. You must be tired after driving for so long." Humph. Once I've abducted him to bed, will I still be afraid that I won't be able to eat him? Why did she suddenly realize that she was completely seducing a pure little white rabbit? After the two stepped into the room, Ningxi's eyes were filled with amazement again. The ceiling of the master bedroom was completely made of glass. Lying on the bed, one could see the starry sky. Outside the window, one could hear the wind blowing through the bamboo forest. The bed was shaped like a bird's nest. The pure white mattress was as soft as a cloud. However, none of this was as beautiful as the person beside him. Lu Tingxiao stood in front of the bed, unbuttoning his collar one by one. Ningxi held her chin and watched without blinking. Sure enough, there would be no harm without comparison. What did she count for? If those people saw the great demon king unbuttoning, wouldn't they go crazy? Also, if they were to find out that the nation's husband number 1 and number 2 had already been internally digested, Lu Tingxiao had just taken off his coat and changed his clothes when he saw Ningxi lying on the bed waiting for him. Seeing him turn around, she even stretched out her small hand and patted the spot next to her, looking like she wanted everyone to sleep together. However, the light in her eyes had completely betrayed her. The corners of Lu Tingxiao's lips curled into a smile. He leaned over and stroked the girl's chin with his fingers. Aren't you tired? Ning, she shook her head like a rattle drum. Come on, when I see you flirting with me like this, even if I'm exhausted, I'll be able to recover on the spot. Lu Tingxiao didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Was he flirting with her? The man caressed the girl's soft hair. I'm older than you. One day, I'll lose my attraction to you. Oh my. Even the great demon king had times when he felt insecure. Ningxi raised her eyebrows. So what? There were many handsome young men in the entertainment industry. But could being handsome make a living? Anyway, no matter how handsome they are not as handsome as me. She was officially the number 1 player. Okay? Lu Tingxiao. This reason, generally, women would comfort them by saying that they would grow old one day. Perhaps only Ningxi would say that no matter how handsome he was not as handsome as her, and no one could refute her. However, Lu Tingxiao loved her arrogant look very much. Yes, what Madame said makes sense. The man chuckled and bent over, his slender fingers covering the girl's collar. The design of Ningxi's clothes had a row of 10 buttons on the neckline, and each button was small and delicate, very difficult to undo. Lu Tingxiao kissed her forehead, nose, lips, collarbone, and every inch of her skin. At the same time, he undid them one by one. His fingers occasionally brushed past them with a numbing electric current. It was so slow that it was torturous. The first time, he had hurt her too much. The second time, he had been too hasty. This time, he wanted to give her the best experience. This man, even if he was not good at something, as long as he was willing to do it, he could do it to the extreme. Just like tonight. You're tuning in to the Eternal Immortal Ballad YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.